Ladies, gentlemen, tables and chairs, open your legs and show me your hairs. How the hell are you all doing, guys? So today is a day earlier than expected. So you got the fantabulous me, as always, the crazy, stupendous, headphone snapping wannabe that is Jay from Just Technics. And a fantabulously lovely, amazing day. You've got me wearing my waterproof trousers on at the moment, so could not be bothered to get out of them. So a quick update on that before I crack anything up. So left here yesterday, as you probably all know if you're around the Essex area or generally in the UK because the weather is crap. It really did chuck it down big time. Massive storm over here. So I had to ask my better half, Kimberly, very nicely to take me down to the one shop that I never ever thought I'd ever end up in, which was the Go Outdoors shop. And to make it even better, not only did I go and spend £100 in this Go Outdoors shop on boots, over trousers, waterproof jacket, I also got a fucking membership because I had to get membership to get it cheaper. So yeah, I went to the one place, you know, like when you go to B&Q and you go in B&Q and they've got the massive outside section and they've got it where you've got all your plants and all your bloody, what's it called, your sheds, pottery, all that sort of stuff, so I don't want to keep it indoors. Well, Go Outdoors, if you've never been in there before, everybody, is probably the only shop I know which has its own dedicated outdoor tent area, right? I mean, you couldn't feel less at home walking into that shop. So guys, do yourself a favour and avoid that unless you really have to. So in my case, I needed to, I would have got drenched. So the missus picked me up, went me down there, spent the money, come back, happy days. Right, that's that out of the way. So if you're wondering why I'm wearing waterproof trousers, you may be able to see it on the camera, I don't know yet, then that's why. So, just literally had the passport delivery turn up about 20 minutes ago. I have been in the middle of sorting out a pair of 1210 Mark IIs for a customer, just a general service, getting some nice bits done. He's included loads of extras from cables for a GR, which I've had to bin because they don't fit the internals, they're too thick, because they're not designed for the internals. New pitch trims, new underpitch felts, new underpitch knob felt as well. Loads of random bits and bobs to get in there, it's going to be really good. But yes, so these decks have now arrived. Well, you probably just about see, if I move this out of the way, you could just about see, next to the Tic Tac decks, I'm still testing them, there's the black and the white box. These boxes, guys, rest assured, I've not opened them, I've not touched them. All I've done is move the little box off the top, which is a XDJ unit for another customer, for Darren Mount, who I'm changing some tack switches for. So right, let's get the first deck on top of here. We'll get it unboxed. We'll have a look at it. I'm going to do both turntables live on video, guys. I was originally going to have two different phones set up with two different cameras. I'm not going to do that now. It's a waste of time to do it. Let's keep this nice, easy and straightforward. My Sony Xperia is here somewhere and I may be using that for photographs. So if you see me walking around, stop talking for a minute, just take pictures, then you'll know why. So while thinking about it, I better make sure I've got it here. Give us a second to get out my bag. Right, the battery's dead on that, so what I'm going to do... In fact, no, doesn't really matter because you've got the video with me taking it apart anyway. Plus, I can take pictures with this phone once I've done the videos. Right, okay, so quick bit of coffee. Let the fun begin, guys. Right, bear with me. Let's take this chair out of the way. Right, banana box turntable is first. Now, you know that it isn't me that sent this out, and I've not done this because obviously, one, I need a banana box, which I haven't got. Two, I wouldn't send anything out in a banana box unless it's very well packed inside. By the looks of it, my customer Wendy has done a very good job. As you can all see on here, while covering up her details here, parcel force details, as you can see. So booked, collected on Tuesday from the customer on a 48-hour service. It's probably in reverse, so you may not see it properly on here, but you'll get the idea. You can read it backwards if you're clever. So one of two, 48 hours, going to me directly from my customer, collected on the 7th. All right. I've not opened them. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not lying. I hear that certain messages of things are circulating around social media as expected from this, whoever these guys are. I'm not even interested. I know who they are from being told by the customer, and a few other people have kind of guessed. I'm just going to say this before I go any further, guys. I get a lot of people messaging me, asking me for the name of the people these are, and also to badmouth and to, you know, do all the things that you guys love, a bit of drama. Truth is this, guys, as much as I'd really like, if it's that bad, to tell everybody on here who these people are, I'm not doing it, because obviously I've got to stay professional. I'm professional myself. I do things in a set way. I'm not pissing around and trying to piss on somebody else's pool. Don't get me wrong, if this is as bad as the photograph, if not worse, then they deserve everything that comes to them, from either court action, whatever my customer decides to do. I'm quite happy to back everything up. So this is all on record. I'm not going to say the name of the people. So if this video circulates through to this third party, whoever it is, then rest assured, mate, I'm not saying anything, okay? All I'm doing is what my customer has asked me to do. Alright, because if it's that bad and you guys haven't done it properly, then you've only got yourselves to blame. Don't care how many times you message the customer, don't even bother messaging me. Alright? Nothing to do with me. I'm just doing what I'm asked. Right, that being said, let's get these unboxed. So I've got my surgery blade, Swan Morton blade to hand. I'll take it, I ain't got to do it from the top because that doesn't make any sense, does it? Because you've got to slide it. So right, okay. So the count at the moment, we've got 30 people watching. Let's see if we can do it. So guys, whoever's watching this actually, share this post. Share this to as many DJs that you guys know use vinyl, alright? Just share it. This is a warning to anybody out there, especially share it to people who you know, that your mates that want to get stuff serviced. Just please push the boat out. It's super, super important that this is seen. And of course, you guys, there's a few people that have guessed who this person is from my comments on the last video. So if you know who it is, then spread the word to your mates not to use this person and to send them to me. And that's not me being nasty and bitchy, it's common sense and the truth. Well, my customers have actually done a pretty good job of boxing this up actually, so I'll quickly show you. Look, so we've got two whacking great big polystyrene tiles. So well done, Wendy, for doing this. Followed by that. It's quite nice, isn't it? Quite robust. Followed by the decks on the top with polystyrene. I mean, the only bit of advice I would give to anybody really packaging decks up to send off to anybody, especially to me. So right, this is the common area that you'll get. The 45 adapter is loose. The reality is I don't actually need that, guys. So if you're going to do anything, keep that at home. Alright. Right, so she has put a support underneath the arm, which is good. So that keeps it straight and true and doesn't look like it's bent or anything like that. But she hasn't put any ties or anything around here. So just as an example, look, we've still got the rear weight on the back, which is also the wrong way round. Because obviously like having the weight on the front by the looks of things. So that has to come off. But I'm going to show you what happens if you don't. So that moves. Imagine that gets clouted. So you've got that in the box, it gets clouted. That springs open like it just has. If that gets knocked around and moves, you can imagine what that can do. That's going to cause damage. Okay, this can come off, can smash into a million things on here. On this particular one, you might have been lucky because it's very tight on there. But if you imagine how heavy these rear weights are, that falling off and hitting components inside the deck could scratch the top, could break things. Got to be bloody careful. Right. So guys, this is the fun part. You can see just by looking at the top how bad this actually is. So this is going to be interesting. Let's start by getting this out of the way. So for those eagle-eyed viewers out there, there's going to be two decks to unbox. Don't know which. I know this is the one that's got the ban on off switch, which does look fucking horrific actually. Let's just see if I can lift this out. It is chucking it down with rain out there, guys, as well. Absolutely chucking it down. Christ, it was tight in that box. Right. Okay then, so. Oh, lovely power cables. So this is the first thing I've just noticed. So without even looking at the deck yet, where when he's obviously cable tied the power cable down, let me quickly clip that. So according to my customer now, this power cable socket itself, removable socket, has been replaced from the original. So that probably either had the EU style plug or had the UK. But he's changed the plug, some silly Dencon or whatever it is, probably a cheap one. He's got a 13 amp fuse in it, that's a good start. But that's a cheap plug. But considering the state of the standard cable, let's be realistic. You guys will know if I've spent an absolute ton of time and effort making your decks look good, am I not going to change your power cable completely? It's covered in paint, mould, and God knows what. That's coming off once I've finished. Alright, that is coming off. I'm not cutting it right now because I need to power the deck up. Then we've got the RCA cables. Right, let's have a look at these. These actually do look. Lux Share AWM. Yeah, they're not marks on the cable, they're actually marks on the wiring. These just appear to be cheap knockoff copies, or just cheap RCA cables that look very similar to the Technics cables, but they're not. I don't think they're Technics cables somehow. Let me just compare. I've got another one here that's got the square style RCAs. I'm sure I have, unless I'm going balmy. No, but no, my honest opinion, I don't think these are Technics cables. But there we go. Right. Well, I see so many aftermarket ones here. You need to, you got to bear with me with this. Right, let's turn this deck around so you can actually see what it looks like, shall we? Right, let's get the camera and kind of take the camera off actually quickly. Hang on a minute. It'll be easier for you to actually to see it. Hang on. Okay then. So deck 1 of 2. Let's first things first. Let's plug this little bugger into the main, shall we? We'll also move my coffee out the way on my Wipeout PlayStation coaster. Epic game of old school times that, guys. Plays the old PlayStation. Who remembers Wipeout? First game I ever played. Many moons ago. Right, let's get my chair. Oh yeah. So, let's have a good look around this one then. So then, what have we got? Problem with these cameras, I mean, this is a 40 megapixel camera. It's not picking up just how dirty. Let me get a cloth, hang on. Let's get a cloth. Right. I don't want to go too overboard on this because obviously I want to get everything on the camera. I don't know whether that's been sprayed or if that's been powder coated. I mean, look at this, guys. Look at the state of that. Look at the state of the sides. Didn't even see that on the picture. It's got dirt actually embedded. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Look at this! Look at the state of all of this! Oh my god! Fucking excellent! Oh god, I love my job, guys. I'm so sorry, Wendy, for laughing, but this is incredible. So, oh dear. Well, that needs to be adhesive down properly, doesn't it? Let's get that turned off. In fact, we'll leave that off for the minute. We'll leave it off for the minute. Actually, no, we won't. We'll put it back on. We'll put it back on because I want to lose it otherwise. I'll sort that out for a start. But look at the state of the inside of that, guys. I don't know whether that's crud inside. Hang on. Get on my swabs and put it in. Look. That's crud inside it or outside. That's actually inside, that is. And that. So what you've got is this, you've got a plastic window, okay? That will, if it comes loose, it self-adhesives down to the left and the right hand side and the top of the assembly for the actual strobe itself. And then behind that, you have got some diffuser paper, like a rectangular sheet of diffuser paper, which literally sits in front of the LEDs. So when I took this top bit off, or I say when it fell off in my hand, you'll see there's 4 LEDs, 2 on top of each other with the connectors. So the moment, see how bad this is, or see how bad the soldering will be inside. Right, the graphics themselves, they look like, now normally I'd say dry transfer, but they're not. They actually look like they've been etched. But this is what I think happens. What I see, let me quickly turn this around. What I see with a lot of people whenever they get these decks and they say they must have them etched, this is why I don't bother. A lot of people tend to just give these to someone, a third party. Then what they'll do, they'll say, right, they want it sprayed in the colour that they want. And then they'll say, here's the graphics that we want you to replicate. And they'll etch them on with a computer or engrave them. And basically the black background on these decks here could be the actual colour, the original colour of the deck as it goes through. Now, in respect to the person that's actually done this, and like I say, not everything I say is bullshit. He's not done a bad job. I don't know if he's done it himself, or if he's given this to somebody else, but the etched lettering on here, it looks like he's either had them sprayed black on the bottom and then white on the top, or he's put dry transfers on. The one way of finding out actually is by seeing if I can pick the corner. Hang on a second, guys. Let's hold that here just for a minute. I'm just going to see. Right. They're dry transfers, guys. These aren't actually etched. They look very good, but I'll tell you what will happen. Give it 2 or 3 coats of alcohol cleaner, like I would do to clean these up, and pretty much everything on these decks will just vanish. So they need to come off. What happens, guys, is if you use dry transfers, like if you use any of the cheap ones you find on eBay, ones you buy from people that get replicated, basically what happens is they come on a sheet, you pop them down, and the same as like a dry rub tattoo, you get the ones that you have to apply water, and then you move the paper and you put a bit of pressure on the top and it will peel back. You've either got that, or there's the other type, which you just literally plop in position, measure them, get them exactly where you want them, and then pick it back with a bit of pressure, like a plastic puck, push it all through, and then peel the top off, and then you'll be able to leave the decal on. The problem that most people do with these dry transfers, this is where people go wrong. They don't apply any clear coat over the top, like 2K for an example. So all that happens is the actual transfer itself is, well, it's not protected. So anyone tries to clean it, i.e. me for an example, tries to clean it, all the lettering will vanish. Some unlucky bugger will buy these, take them home, if they buy them second hand, and that will happen, they'll come off. But it also goes to show how bad the possible paint could be. Now, do you remember about a year or so ago when I did a pair of white decks for a customer, and I put cloth on it with a bit of foam cleaner, and within 5 seconds of me touching the cloth on it, all the paint started coming off from my gloves in my hand. Did you guys remember that? Well, this will be interesting to see if he's actually done it, because judging from the actual paint quality and like the front of the decks, doesn't look very good actually. Let me quickly turn this around again. Again, I'm not just bad mouthing people for the hell of it, but you can see, if you look very carefully, try to zoom it with my camera. Look at you can see the ripples, can't you? You see all of this? All over here? I mean, look at that. I wonder if this has either been aerosol canned or, hang on, looks, in fact, that could have been powder coated. That could have been powder coated. This is a telltale sign of something that's been powder coated. Now, what happens when you powder coat things like this? A lot of places tend to just go stupid and they go over the whole thing, not just the top and the sides. When I used to have things powder coated, I'd say do not touch underneath at all. I just want the top done and the sides and some of the insides. You put screws in all the old holes so nothing gets covered. That is a telltale sign of powder coating because that's also the same colour. Right, okay, so while this is on, let's have a look at the obvious bits before I put it back on its stand. Right, because it is bloody filthy. The buttons appear to be working. Let's put this back to 0. Okay, let's see what the speed's doing. So again, the pop-up lights are actually fucking filthy. They're absolutely filthy as well. Again, silly things like this really pisses me off. Why were the insides not clean? Why was the outer shell not clean? Why is the top not cleaned? Why is the shell itself just looking really dirty? Not good enough. Right. So these have apparently had brand new trims put on. Now looking at this, in fact, actually this is a classic. Look at the state of this, guys. This has been freshly sprayed or powder coated. I'm going to say powder coated. Look at all the crap on it. This is new. This is meant to be new. That doesn't even look like it's level, actually, that to me. It looks like the top should be up to the left more. This has apparently had a brand new trim, which again, look at the state of it. This looks to me like a cheap copy. And in fact, this is a bit strange. So I know where those LEDs come from for a start. I know exactly where they're from. The fader, just by doing that, in fact, you can see it. If I move it down, it's loose. Loose, well, tightens here. You can see it when I move it. So loose, tightens. On the other end, cool, that really firms up. Look. You can see the resistance with my finger when I'm moving it. Whoa, that is really bad. Let's see how this calibrates. Hang on. So, what have we got? 3.3, is it 3? Christ almighty. Plus 7 for plus 6. Now, depending on how worn the faders are, I don't know if he's put a brand new fader in. This looks like it's been refurbished, but refurbished pretty badly. I'm not going to bullshit. That shouldn't be tight like that. There's no excuse. That is either too much oil, or sorry, grease inside the slider, or too much petroleum jelly, whatever is used, and it's not been done properly, is the truth of it. Now I'm going to be interested to see how that looks when I take it apart. The pop-up light actually does jack shit, which is about right, because what's actually happened, he's got one of these cheap and nasty kits which just sticks all the way up. Ooh. It just sticks up, so it doesn't protrude out. This is why a lot of competitors all moan about people that use these cheap and nasty LED kits, because they don't angle out onto the record. That's going to be sorted. That'll be one of the first things, and it's a real crappy light. I mean, that's an upgrade apparently. I'd say the original's better than that. So let's stop the turntable. Let's look at the obvious bits first, shall we? I can't see this on the camera, but judging from the... That hasn't been cleaned. It looks okay, but that hasn't been touched. The arm itself is loose on the actual adapter, so he hasn't even bothered to tighten any of this up to stop the arm from moving. You see, look, it's not even clipping in actually. It's just moving over the top. That's really bad. That's going to be sorted. What else have we got here then, guys? What about the arm lift? Should we have a look at the arm lift? And let's get my light. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move this over here so we actually have some bits. Ignore the state of my thing at the moment, guys. I'm in the middle of sorting loads of stuff out. Right. Let's look at the arm lift, shall we? Well, the arm lift actually works, which is a surprise. So that's one thing we can cross off the list. Anti-skate feels okay. What about the height adjuster rings? Well, this is going to be interesting. 2, 6. It's done a bit too tight because it actually locks just over 0. That should be a little bit further than that. But it moves, so I can't knock that. So, excellent stuff. So this must be the deck that hasn't got the major thing with the pitch, or what was it she was telling me? Oh, there's literally no... Oh, wow. There is no play in that. Right, guys. I don't know if you guys can see this. It takes hardly any effort to stop the platter. Doesn't feel like there's any torque there whatsoever. I mean, look, I'm literally just touching that. Look. Quartz is kicking in because you can see it trying to adjust. That needs a bloody good clean. Right, okay. Next phase, guys. Next phase. Right, I'm going to quickly check the bearings. So let's put this back onto the stand of love. I hope it doesn't fall over because that'd be a nightmare. This is my £600 phone. Quick bit of coffee. Yay! It is, guys, it is chucking it down out there really bad. I'm looking forward to riding back. Not. What is the time? Is it like 3:15, 3:10? That's alright, plenty of time. Got loads of time, loads of lovely time for some bodge hunting. Good to see loads of people watching. So who's watching, guys? I can see Mr. Conman Keen's watching because your pictures appeared in the top right corner of my screen. Who else have we got watching so I can say hello quickly? Good to see you all watching, guys. I know you're all eager to see the insides of these just like I am. I'm really hoping that I take these apart and the soldering's good. There's no bodge. Silly little things like this sort of thing winds me up. So, ground cable for an example, the Technics ground cable. Don't know about you, but whenever I put ground cables on, and I do aftermarket ones or even the standard ones, I at least heat shrink over the top of them. It looks more professional. Why the hell would you want that? Look, it's bent already, right? I can't even show you my one. I think that's I can just about get it in the camera. Hang on, I might be able to. No, it just things. Hang on. Let's give you an example, right? So you can see the thickness difference in now. I make these cables myself. I don't even bother with the Technics ones. Forks are thicker. Bend exactly the same. A lot more robust. Not as flimsy and stupid. Right, let's get that back. Yeah, the unit's getting there, guys. Still bugger all really now. It's turned into more of a storage ground at the moment. Look at me bin. Look at me wheelie bin. Oh, yes. Right, anyway, let's get back to what we were doing, shall we? Just dreading this falling out of the bloody stand. Right, okay. Let's make some space. Hang on. Make some space to put some bits. What I'll do is take all the bits of take off of this. I'll put it up in the box down on the floor that you guys have just seen. So that box down there with the polystyrene, all the parts that are going there are all going to be going back in that box. So, well, that was hardly, look, hardly anything. Now that's meant to be a magnet, bearing in mind, guys. There is literally no, that's shit. That could be part of the problem with the torque. You may get some messages and notifications part, guys, but I'm really sorry, but that's because I can't fathom how to turn it off on this Android phone. It hasn't got the do not disturb button. The magnet seems to be okay. It doesn't look like it's marked. It's got some chips around the inside, but there's nothing that's out of the ordinary on that. This is a brushless motor. It needs a bit of a clean though. That could have done with a quick go over, really. Ooh, lovely. Right, okay. Let's get this on there. That on there, shall we? Right, let's get my handy drill out, shall we? Let's get this undone. Did you bring your waterproof stuff with you today? My missus has just literally messaged me asking if I brought all waterproof stuff. Yes, I have. It's supposed to be last. She knows I'm doing a video because she checks my page out when I've got live things, but she's now messaging me privately. Babe, I'm recording. You must be on the message if you want. I'm not going to not reply. Okay, this is a classic case of pure bodgery, this. So, right guys, let's just quickly show you this, shall we? Hang on. Oh God. This person has literally had this powder coated, because this is definitely powder coat. You can see it on here. It is thick. And you can see where the screw threads, just to re-put screws in them to go around it. This is a classic case of pure bodgery. Look at this, ready? That's still moving, and to make it worse, he's used the original thermal paste. That's the original thermal paste that come with the deck. That's why there's hardly any on there. I know it's white, but you can just about make out the little bit there. That's not new. That's the original. So that's a good start. That might as well go back in there for the minute, because I'm not going to be able to... Oh, bloody thing, hang on. Let's get the electrical screwdriver, hang on. Just want to leave it like that. Ignore the state of how it's all going in, guys, because you know as well as I do this is all going to be taken apart. Oh, hang on. Give us a second, guys. I've got people messaging me left, right and centre, and unfortunately, in fact, I'll plug my other phone in. Let my Express do its thing. I'll be able to reply back to people on there. Let's just quickly have a look at my computer. So there's a couple of peeps messaging me. Hello. On here. Bloody hell, got 5 already. I'll be right back with you. 2 messenger. Right, file up on PC, watch 42-inch. Right, so I've already been told by a couple of people about mentioning certain people on here. Now, guys, I'm going to state this very carefully. I am not mentioning who this company is, okay? I'm not mentioning who this company is. And with the greatest of respect, it's not my problem. Wendy, ripping my packaging. Right, so someone's watching, are they, who... See, this is the beauty of social media. Someone is watching who knows the company very well, who's good friends with this person, apparently. It says, messages now coming from my personal Facebook as well as my business one. Which is just quite comical. So I've got, what's this? Right, okay. So this is where it starts getting interesting. This person must be following my page. Not going to mention who told me this. Settings. Let's just make a little adjustment on this. And I'll be right back, guys. Don't worry. How sad some people be. Eh? My block width's getting bigger and bigger, I'll tell you. How do you bloody find that? Sorry guys, I know this isn't very exciting to watch at the moment. I'm pretty sure whoever's sharing this and watching is probably slagging me down to the ground, which isn't needed. So I'm not being nasty. Right, here we go. Here's this it. Can't be that one, surely. Let's just be safe and sorry and get them on there. Person's added to the list. Right, either way, let's just work this out after. It's not too bothered about this. Right, guys, let's go back and do this, shall we? Again, I'm going to say it again. I'm not slating the people that have done this. I'm just doing a job that I've been asked to do. And if I want to give my honest impressions on the work and honest impressions of how things have been done, then I will. It's what I do for a living. I'm doing this for a very, very, very long time. So if you don't like it, to be honest, that really is tough. So I know people are messaging me saying that certain people are watching. Good, I'm glad they're watching, because this is what happens. I'm sorry, this is what happens. Right, so classic for you. That, for an example, is meant to be the under pitch knob felt. So you change these. Really? I put new felts on mine. I make mine myself. That should have been changed, and it wasn't. That's the first thing. The pitch trim is absolutely filthy. Thick as Jesus. How thick? How thick do you want your cable ties? Crikey. Well, these cables ain't going anywhere, but if anything, they're a bit too tight. Let's turn this phone on. I've got one that I can reply to. Hang on, guys. Hang on, guys. I'll be there in a second. Like I said, this isn't going to be a 5-minute job just doing all of this. Right, I'm back. I'm back. Trying to talk to a million different people at the same time. So we've got a couple of things here that I say is a no-no. Right, let's get this turned over. Let's have a look at this bad boy, shall we? So get my cover and use. Check ton of bubble wrap just to be on the safe side. Don't want to scratch anything, even though they're going to be re-wrapped by yours truly. Ah, right. Good man. How sad. Hang on, guys. Right, got him. Cheers, lads. Such a cutthroat business, this. I swear to God. Such a cutthroat business. Why can't some people just fucking get along and do things properly? Right, let's get this turned over. Not too fussed about the overall condition of what this is going to be like, because it's all going to be refurbed by me anyway. Let's take the obvious bits off, which I normally will. Just to make life a little bit easier. Christ, it really is hammering down out there now. Okay. and a bit of polystyrene and a bit of foam just to stop it from moving for the video, because I'm not setting everything up just to do this. These do not deserve my time, to be quite frank. Paint my feet. I mean, that to me isn't very good. I mean, why the hell would you give it back like that? Wouldn't you at least try and clean it up for the customer? That one's okay. Paint on that one. 3. I mean, this must have been done. I'd say the customer may very well have sent this to the guys with this on, so you can't prove who's done this, but at the same time, if you're pimping something out, wouldn't you at least try and clean it for them? Yeah, there's paint all over the base. You guys can see this. There's paint all over the base of this, all over the corner, look, real thick chunks as well. I mean, surely you could. I mean, look, it takes all of 20 seconds to get this off. Why wouldn't you do it? Is it laziness? Is it just thinking of the money? Getting it out the door quick? This is the problem that I come across with a lot of people who try and do things themselves. They're more customers, you see, who are DJs that do this. I mean, that's cross-tuned as well. Hang on. Customers who do this themselves are too eager to get back and use their decks. So the first thing they want to do is get it back together and not worry about it. But this chewed screws, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I've never ever seen the actual corner screws chewed up before. So that's a new one for me. Go and set the compartments after I've finished stripping this down. I think this is the first time I've actually had people just watching and not actually commenting on the video, because I was interested in what I'm doing, so that's a first. Like you guys are enjoying your day anyway. If you're not at work, I'm hoping you're not stuck at work and that you're actually in the warm. Right, so the base is off the deck. Right, okay. Okay. Normally, I'd be really careful and take these plugs off. What I'm going to do, it's really simple. Really, really simple. Let's pop that straight in the bin, shall we? So that's coming off. Right, the base inside. You probably can't make that out on camera, but that hasn't been cleaned. I always clean these before I put them on. Always clean them. So the last thing you want is to work your arse off getting things done and then breaking them. Right, now first impressions, guys, I'm going to be honest. Solder doesn't look too bad. Used leaded solder. Although there's actually saying that there is a few bits that don't quite sit right with me. But all in all, not too bad. Until you start looking over it and actually see what's been done. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Probably the first thing you guys probably may have noticed on here is these two wires that are sticking out for the pop-up, where he's putting the pop-up lights on. So right, let's just quickly. So the hinge screws Well, also loose. That one there especially, bloody hell. Let's get them off, shall we? Let's get these, get the middle plate off the deck. That was just spinning and not actually moving. Any of these young kids that are watching who have done it themselves or know the people that are doing it, don't start bullshitting and this person's talking out of his arse and all that stuff, because quite honestly guys, I'm 34, 35 this year. I don't need the shit. I'm big enough and ugly enough to know what's right and what's wrong. I've been doing this a very long time, worked for many years in popular DJ stores, and I'm always helping people out, so this is nothing new to me. Right, you couldn't even be bothered to take the tape off the original cables. That's very good. And also, right, so this has 100% been powder coated, because like I said, the entire underneath of the deck is white, so which means usually what people tend to do is they put screws or odds and sods screws inside the holes of each thread, so that way that when the powder is actually thrown onto the deck, it doesn't actually seep into the threads of the deck, so it makes taking the screws out and putting the screws in easier, because the threads themselves aren't coated in crap. He hasn't removed any of the old tape, which doesn't sound like a big thing. To me, that's, with my OCD, that'd do my head in. I wouldn't want that on there, but it's each to their own. Right, let's quickly take the top of this off of the cable, because in his defence, these cables have been replaced. They may very well be Technics cables. We shall see. Let's just see what the overall condition of the soldering and the connections in here are. Like I said, I haven't been slating this person down to the ground. I don't even know who. I know who the person is, as in who the business people are. I'm not impressed how they've pretty much tried copying my website. I'm not the only person that's actually said that. Right, soldering. I'll be honest right now, that's changed my opinion completely. Let's just whip this out. So the base of the deck's now off. That weren't even sticking down, that was just barely touching. Fuck me. Right, okay. Well, that's fantastic. Right, okay, well that's go away in my hand. Let's have a look at this then. I'm surprised that she actually tested it, because there's probably no audio, but the green cable, I only rested my hand on the side of the thing to take the bit of tape off, and that wasn't even stuck down properly. The green cable's come across in my hand, so that would have cut out audio completely. The soldering of the cables themselves, I mean, no. I mean, that's a no-go. You don't do that. That's really not very good. The top connections there that look like they're really fucking close together. No, that is a bit of a bodge, I'm not going to lie. Sorry guys if you're watching, but that is a bit of a bodge. Let me quickly just sort this out, shall we? So I'm going to cut the connection here, take all the crap off, and I'm going to strip this down while you guys are watching. Alright, so let's quickly turn this around again. Put that back on the stand. What we'll probably do in a minute as well is plug my phone inside that one there, just to make sure that the battery don't run out, because the last thing I want is live streaming and then the battery to run out halfway through. It's a bit more coffee. In fact, dumb arse over here puts his soldering iron next to his fucking coffee. Let's just finish this off, hang on. Let's move it out of the way, shall we? Okay. So, let's get this old or new cable out of the deck. So first things first will be to clip the massive cable tie, which is just too thick for underneath. They shouldn't be that thick anyway, I'm going to be honest. Let's just tin the end of the solder from my roll of solder I've got here. A few extractors on as well. You won't be able to hear that because of the rain. let's just get these old cables removed from the board. And we'll see if there's been too much heat applied to the actual PCB itself. Maybe okay, it does look very dirty though. Like I say, I'm not going to go out of my way to badmouth people if there's genuinely nothing to badmouth, because that's not me. I'm not like that. I'm not a kid at the end of the day. There's no point doing that. There's no point getting backlash for something that's not your concern, you know, because you lied, you know. It literally just fell off, that did. So that can be done like that again, on the floor, bin or whatever with that. Ground cable. Let's get that off the deck as well. Get a bit of fresh solder on that so it's easier to remove. Go, nice and easy. Let's get that one attached to the pitch control. Solder's still attached to my hand. Let's get that done. That can be whatever. Let's get that down there as well. Let's get the old solder off of here as well. Solder sucker. You're probably wondering why I'm picking the solder out at the end of this sucker. The sucker that I've got is so powerful. Once you've actually sucked the solder up, when you push it back down, I've deliberately got one that keeps the external solder in the chamber, so you don't have to keep on emptying out your soldering iron, because the whole thing does it each bit at a time. And then once I've finished, just clean the workbench, nice and easy. It wasn't the cheapest in anyone's standards, but it does the job very, very well. And it also does it to a degree that it doesn't actually rip the PCB solder pads, because a lot of these, if you've ever used a solder sucker before, what a lot of them tend to do is they're a bit too aggressive, and they actually do tend to rip the padding actually off of the PCB itself. All I'm doing now is going over with my special stuff, we'll call it, my KFC recipe. And we'll see just how bad the board actually is. Doesn't look too bad actually, but it is still bad. Like I said, I ain't going to bull about anything. I'm just going to give you my honest opinion. Right, okay. So my honest opinion with this, let me show you. I've just literally just cleaned this board up. Just cleaned it up, guys, and you can see, you see the scratch marks on the PCB assembly itself. So this isn't actually going to cause any problems, but I can guarantee you now they were not like that when the original Technics cables were on there, which basically means he's moved around the soldering iron a bit too much and he's scratched the actual board itself. Now sometimes that can cause problems, but the most important parts on the PCB assembly itself, if I can find my little poker wherever the fuck that's vanished off to, it has completely gone. Where the hell's that gone? This is what I get for moving things around on not being too prepared, because I knew I was going to do it, so I've got no excuse. Let's get another screwdriver. Right, okay. So, one of the most important parts from this board. Okay, so what happens is you have your wires that come through from the arm. Okay, so you've got 4 wires from the end of the head shell socket, as well as the grounding connection, which is the black cable that comes on the end of the arm. So if you're looking through your tone arm, you'll see there's 4 connectors. Then you've got your black connector. That black connector goes in the middle of the arm, or towards the end of the arm, goes where the gimbal is, and that comes through, attaches to the ground section here. Okay. That's on here. That's not loose, is it? No. That goes there. You've got your earthing point here as well, which some people use, some people don't use. And you've got your point here, which is where the ground connection that goes towards the pitch control onto here, as well as the actual ground cable itself. There's lots of different ways that you can mount things, but this particular deck, your grounding cable will go here. All your tone arm wires will go here. So you get black, green, red, white and blue. That's what happens, all in that exact order, all going down here. Then you've got your red, your white, and your 2 grounding points for the rest of the cable. Okay, for the outer sheathing, that's where they go. So these lines here should be pretty self-explanatory. You've got one connector going from here to here, and then when the connectors obviously connect from here, the arm connects to these points, goes to the other end of the arm, and that's when you get audio. Now, whenever you get problems with audio cutting out, for an example, or one channel not working, or if you've got problems with intermittent audio, sometimes it is to do with these points here. This is what I always explain to people. It could be the connector. You saw how flimsy the wires were, because when I took the connector off the bottom, that literally fell apart in my hand. Sorry, it's not focusing properly, is it? So that's one point you can look at. The other point here will be dry connections on solder. Sometimes this does cause a bit of a problem. So you've got dry connections between the points on here. Or bad soldering sometimes can do it as well, where you put too much heat on, and sometimes it literally kills the cable. That is very common as well. So again, just peace of mind for you to check. So that has had not too much heat, but it has been scratched around a little bit. You can see it has. So I've just cleaned that board up now. I'm going to pop some fresh solder on this. Now I've cleaned it, I may end up putting another PCB on. Now, yes, that probably will work. I'm pretty sure it's going to be continuity between the connections, because as you can see, you've got a rail that goes from one side to the other, and that is pretty much all it is. So these two here being the most important for your left and right. These two also connect to the audio out, the outer sheathing of each side of the cable. And these are the tone arm connections that go straight to the arm with these little wires. So if you're always wondering what this is, and you see me look about this all the time on my page, on videos, this is literally just me explaining to you what that is. So that is the audio PCB for your tone arm, okay? That is sometimes what causes problems with your audio connection, be it dry solder, broken connections like you saw when I took it apart, or broken cable, breaking the cable, or dry solder. That's just me explaining that to you. So again, we'll do that one now. Hang on. So that's a nice little explanation there for you on that. So I'd like to think people that are watching, if anyone is watching who is watching on behalf of whoever the guy is that does this, I'd like to think that they're looking and going, look, he's not being nasty, he's not being a bad mouth, I'm just doing what I'm asked, guys, alright? So again, before, I know what it's like, people go, oh fucking hell, this person's saying this, what the fuck are they playing at? If you've done something wrong, you've done something wrong. It's nothing that can't be, there's no way of me saying that. I'm not going to just defend you. I mean, they've been sent to me for a reason, and I can see the reason why they've been sent to me. I'll do it when they were unboxed. Not bad-mouthing, but on the same note, should have been done a little bit differently, guys. So, let's just get the pitch control off. Now, in the defence here, with the pitch control soldering, again, soldered, it's been soldered. Let's just move this out of the way, hang on. Don't want to do that with an electric screwdriver, chew the top of it up, it's not worth my time doing that. Yeah, you see, this is where you let yourself down. The solder itself is dirty, so it might look shiny to some degree on the camera, but you can just about make out the corners. On the actual blobs of solder they've put on, the solder in certain sections is actually quite dirty. And the biggest bit that lets this down, I'm not going to ball, the biggest bit that lets this down is the actual pitch control LED light. Now I don't know if you will be able to see this on the camera without me turning the camera around. Let me turn the camera around, hang on. See if I can do it while it's on its stand. So it may, that's a lot clearer because it's 40 megapixels. So look at that. Can you see that blob on one of the legs? Why is there a blob like that? Why have you put a blob like that? That's interesting, isn't it? Look at that. Right, okay, turn it back round again. Back round again. So we'll whip this off. In fact, what I will quickly do is check the settings of my frequency counter. My little backup one. So I've got a fluke as well, but this is my standalone frequency counter. And the wires on here are loose as well. That's a big no-no. That actually feels like it's going to snap. So you should have really changed the wiring over, so I'll put that on the list as well. Lucky they're not particularly expensive, or maybe that would even save the cables. Let's just look at this. So, what am I doing? Fucking frequency counter? No, frequency. Sorry guys, ignore me for a second. I'm like 400 steps ahead of what I actually should have been doing with that. The frequency counter isn't being used with this. We use the multimeter. I've got a rack mount multimeter, a UINT unit meter. So let's just check what setting we've got with my bloody expensive multimeter. Yeah, classic, what everyone puts these back to, so 2.71, so it is as close as he probably managed to get it with the screwdriver for the potentiometer. It is still the standard potentiometer, so reality is he probably could have changed that and maybe tried to fine tune that a bit more, but you can be within +1 or -1 difference on the potentiometer, that's fine. There are 3 or 4 different ways that you can calibrate this, actually number wise as well, which this person may not have known. But like I say, when I did pop this on, it doesn't seem too far off, okay? But the biggest concern that I have, one is the popper, is the actual LED light soldering on the rear. I can't understand why there's so much of a blob on there. 2 is the wire. In fact, I think I'll probably say the wire, the loose wire actually on it, being the red wire, which is a big no-no. That is actually quite important, because if that goes, you've got no pitch. So that's very important. The calibration side of things, that's actually fluctuating on my screen. This is a refurbished slider. Hence why I know it's got too much grease inside it. Right, this has been refurbished and this has been built. This is going to be interesting. But yeah, the wire's loose. The LED shouldn't have been soldered on with such force, and the fact that the slider doesn't move around properly is not very good. And there's dry bits of dirt inside the solder, which is a bit strange because this is leaded solder, the same as, you know, a lot of people use. Very strange. Right, okay, well that needs to be stripped out at some point. Let's turn that off. We'll put my probes, my anal probes, back on the shelf. Just check the battery, hang on. 49%, oh, I've got plenty of battery. Right, okay, so that has got to be sorted. Nice try, but it is too firm on the corners. That's my honest opinion for you. We'll get that over here, shall we? Let's get it on top of the flat cover and all the crap. Go on there, can't it? Right, let's just check. Take the arm apart, take the arm off. Everything I'm taking apart, because you can't actually see this in this corner, but everything I'm taking apart is all going to be going in separate little containers. It's going to be going on top of that turntable. Because it isn't going to be done today, this is just literally just going to be stored today. Grease, not a bad amount of grease, I'll give you a thumbs up for that. Locking nut seems nice and smooth. Maybe it's the original, maybe you didn't clean the locking nut. We'll find that out when I've done it. I'm hoping, in fact, you know what, I'm going to quickly take apart, while I've got this in my hand, I'm going to quickly take this apart and put it back together, the actual assembly. I'm just being nosy. Let's see if you've taken the assembly. I'm really hoping that I do this and that the threads are clean. That'd be nice. Well, that circlip came out very easily. That's a bit concerning, but maybe it needs to be bent. I'm not going to moan about that. I usually use a particular stand that I've got. Yep, clean. Oh, hang on. Yep, clean the threads. Cool. Happy days. So you clean that. We'll put that back in the old way, because I've got to do that anyway. Let's now turn this around and see if you cleaned. This does feel really clean. Does feel clean. Yeah. Happy days. Well, he's cleaned the threads on the tone arm. So, mate, thumbs up for cleaning the tone arm threads. There's a lot of people out there that don't actually bother, and that's quite refreshing to see, because the amount of bodge jobs that I have to resolve every week, which you've all seen on my pictures and videos, which all have horrible gunky green threading that's not been cleaned. So that's a nice result. That's like a bit refreshing to see. So good work with that. Doesn't take 5 minutes to clean them. You'd be surprised the amount of people that just don't bother. It's horrific. See, I'm not that bad, guys. I'm not that bad. If you're watching on defensive ever it is, I'm not that bad of a person. I would like to know why you've been copying my site, but that's irrelevant really to this entire topic. I mean, there's so many people that have popped out of the woodwork recently who think they know what they're doing, or go, I'll have a stab at doing that. Because they've watched videos on fucking YouTube and all the rest of it. I mean, that literally, the circlip on that went straight on with no pliers, no nothing. That's not really good enough. But either way, that's that. That's loose. In fact, one thing I will quickly check is the bearings. Let's see. Let's just check the bearings out. That didn't take much hassle to come undone. Looks good. Where the bloody hell have I put my little twizzly thing? Hang on, guys. I'm going to do my head in this because I actually need it. I actually need it to do this. It's not there, it's not there. It's not there. Where the bloody hell did I put it? The amount of these I've bought, because I keep losing them. This is a classic. I've done exactly the same thing again. How have I managed that? How have I managed it? Not moved. It's going to be hiding somewhere. Well, I'll be doing something else and it will pop up and I'll be like, oh, I need it, and it's gone. Right, but it looks... It's here. Oh, after all that, it's sitting right in front of me. Sorry, guys. He's lucky bearings are free on that, and the bearings look like they're free on the actual assembly of the arm as well. So the bearings are all okay, which is good, on this deck anyway. So that can go as it is, on top of that, including the bearings. Right, let's look at the next part of this deck, shall we? Because this is where it changes a little bit. Let's get the pop-up light out, because that's one bit that I'm not liking the look of, and I'm interested to see how this has been soldered. I mean, this already, to me, this pop-up light is a no-no, because just by judging from how the LED actually is on it. So I've got the LED. Christ, enough glue holding that stuff, holding that assembly down. Let's get the switch off. All this stuff again, guys, is all going to be hot inside a separate tub. Carefully slip that. Christ, clean that enough. Okay. For those of you wondering how to take parts out and send them to me, if you actually do need to send me the assemblies to the LEDs, I'm hoping you guys can see on this video that it's time consuming is the problem. I mean, you could probably take these parts out, one part you need, in about half an hour, but it's making sure you watch the video and watch where things go. And if you get stuck, you're more than welcome to watch me and give us a message. Right, well, again, if you didn't see this before, that is just not good enough. There's no excuse saying that you can't get them or they're too expensive or whatever. There's no excuse known to man I would give. Look at the state of it. Even actually to be fair, that whole assembly is pretty dirty. He's still got the original, he hasn't cleaned this at all because there's still got the original blue lube grease, whatever you want to fucking call it, actually on the inside of the adjuster. So that hasn't been cleaned and nothing else has been put back on there. Let's just tell you what we'll do as well. We'll take this off. In fact, let's move this out the way. 'Cause one thing I've just noticed as well, no pitch inner trim on the actual slider. So that's a good no-no as well. He's taking it off. Which you can see it's still parts of it there, but there's no inner trim on the pitch. We don't know what an inner trim looks like. Let me show you, because I put one on a customer's deck about 3 hours ago. So this is what a bag of genuine Technics parts looks like, guys. Genuine pitch shader, they call it. Literally what it is a bit of felt on one side with self-adhesive on the other, with a slit down the middle, which you stick. You take your old one off, you get a blade, remove it off, get it nice and clean, and you put a pitch shade underneath. Now, some people, when they put under platter LEDs and pitch LEDs done, sometimes they prefer to keep that off, purely for the fact that with them off, sometimes you get more of a more LED output come through the actual slot itself. Sometimes it works a treat, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, I tend to just put the pitch LEDs around the LEDs themselves that I make myself, my custom made ones go underneath the platter, purely for the fact if you leave the pitch alone. I can do it, but for the output you get, depending on what brightness of LEDs, what type of LEDs you use, where you position them, it's very difficult to get the same spread, but I can do it regardless. But that's irrelevant. Either way, pitch shader, not been put on the deck. They cost peanuts, no excuse not to put that on. That should have been put on. Okay, so that can go back in the bag of bits with the pitch trim stuff that I'm doing at the moment. So that's that. This can be taken off. In fact, actually, one thing I will do before I do look at the switch, actually, is we'll quickly take this off of the board. We'll take this off and we'll have a quick look underneath. See if there's anything obvious that I see should have been done. Again, you'd be very surprised what you find. I'm really looking forward to actually getting my hands on these properly and actually getting some time to do it. Basically, tomorrow I've got to finish off a deck, and I've got to finish off an SL1410 Mark II, which is a hi-fi deck for a customer whose birthday is next week. They're doing it for a surprise for their dad, so I need to sort that, and there's also a pair that needs to be done. That hasn't been done. That looks like he may have just put oil over the top and let it drip down the spindle, but he's not had that apart. And the reason I know this is look at the top, or say look at the bottom. If you look at the top of that, I'll turn the camera around again so you can see it. If you look at the top, look at that, can you see that? That hasn't been cleaned. So if it decides to try and focus again, if I get my glove, you can see with my glove that I'm now cleaning it off with that. In fact, if I get I should have really just, hang on. Here we go, right, so you can see it there. Let's get this with a cloth. Just to give you an example, I'd strip this down if it was me. You can see by looking at that. She's going to be looking going, that's not a lot. But guys, you've got to think, the outside of that is dirty. What's the inside look like? In fact, that hasn't been done. Let me quickly take this apart. So, let's quickly just unscrew. Usually I get the board out the deck and do that, but while we've got this here, we might as well have a quick look. Yeah, this has never been taken apart. Never been taken apart at all. Okay, turn the camera around again. So if you look, don't know if it comes out all right on the camera, but that's really dirty. You can see where the actual adjuster sits on the bottom. That's dirty and hasn't been taken apart, guys. So this is a classic example where it's been taken out and put back in without anything done to it. Maybe a splodge of oil or something put on the outside, but these need more than that. They need more than that. Ugh, that's horrible. Fuck's sake. What's wrong with these people? Sick to bloody... I am sick to death of some of this stuff. I really am. I'm not putting that back in dirty. What time are we at? 4 o'clock. Right, I've been doing it an hour, have I? Bloody hell. Let's just clean a bit of that off so I can at least... Christ. Keep sharing this video, guys, if you're watching. Share the love. Got to be really careful. In fact, that doesn't... Why doesn't that look right? Why doesn't that look right? Why does that look raised? I swear that's meant to be lower than that. That's like it's been glued in. Yeah, that's... Ah, there you go. Yeah, that's partly where the problem was, it may have been. The actual adjuster itself, you saw me pop that back in, that shouldn't have been that high. Restart, that's sorted that issue out. Right, so again, filthy. Give it a quick brush over. So I feel better knowing it's been done. I'll put it all back together. Clean, you can see the difference straight away. Clean. Clean the adapter on here anyway. I'm just literally quickly going over this with any old cloth I've got. This is all going to be done properly, I can assure you, and you'll all see it on pictures. Just going to throw this all in here like this. Just no lube, just throwing it back in. This is all going to be done, all individually. Get that in there. Get my circlip pullers on the deck. Just to get that back on. That's much better. Even without grease on, that feels better than how it was. Do that loosely. I know these fall off otherwise, so I've got to do one side, at least do one side tight. There we go. Go on there as well. Let's get this board out. So that's a good start. Magnet on my thing's gone. There we go. Right. Oh, more messages coming through. See what this is. Hang on. So literally just launched my Sony Ericsson phone. So for those of you that are sending me messages, comments, etc., I will see them shortly because I'm literally just powered up my Sony Xperia, so you can see to the extent of what people are messaging me. So let's just quickly move this from there onto a pad or something. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get it on this nice mat that I've got, and we'll take that out. So the deck now is literally its bare form, nothing attached to it apart from the actual housing assembly for the pop-up. In fact, just to prove a point here, what I'm going to quickly... You hear the messages all coming through now on my other phone, so that might go through for a couple of minutes, guys. What I'm going to quickly do, to prove a point, let's see. I'm going to quickly go over it just to give it a bit of a clean. There's loads of inbreaded dirt and things that have all been stuck inside. Just quickly check my messages on here as well. So I've got 39% battery on this phone. So, oh, I've actually got messages that have come through. Pull Hutch, no, don't need any of that. eBay, bloody hell, there's loads that have come through. WhatsApp, hey? Who's that? Page manager. Here we go. Right, let's take that off. It's on the Wi-Fi. Here we go. Of course, running bloody slow, this phone. Who's that? Oh, is there actually people... Sorry guys, are comments actually coming through? Because... No, they're not, are they? Oh, James, how you doing, mate? Mickey B. Oh, they're actually starting to come through now. Sorry, guys. Do you know what? I'm really sorry. None of these comments were going through. Shit, there's loads of people. Wow. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I did not know. Right, James, how you doing, mate? Sorry, I didn't see you watching. Mickey B, how you doing, buddy? Mr. Key, at least he didn't have the famous blue cables. That's true. James, you ain't got time to drink coffee. There are nearly 600. You make it all look so easy, Joe. I wouldn't dare strip mine down. Wesley, how are you, mate? Just watermark your pictures for the logo. Hard to picture people to copy. Jeez, you're all coming through now. It's really strange. It's almost like the minute you start doing one thing on another phone, it stops on the other. Christ. Stop playing Days Gone to watch this. I was so intrigued. How the hell do you remember what screws go where? Oh, it's did it for long enough. Bodge because they should have looked really nice. Hi Jay, my XDJ turned up yet? Yep, it turned up with these decks. This, you hear that? James again, James Watson. Yep, I recall Jay saying they arrived at the start of the video. Oh, wicked, nice one, James. You keep an eye on it. Paul Evo, how are you, mate? Loads of comments. Yeah, I didn't even realise. Look, jeez, that's all comments, guys. Wow, that's wicked stuff. Right, okay, let's crack on, shall we? So, I'm going to give us a quick wipe down before I slap it somewhere. Terrible. Right, okay. Let's get this out of the way. More comments, bloody hell. Right. What the hell is that? It's a washer that's come from somewhere. It's an old shitty washer anyway, so. Let's get this on. So guys, the main board, power supply, switches, etc. Let's just do the obvious and check some of the common parts which I see day to day. Right, well, he hasn't touched the main board at all. Hang on, turn this around for you. No component on this main board has been touched, and I can actually guarantee that. So, in fact, right, okay, this is where things get a little bit silly, guys. So, things weren't particularly too bad. I mean, I'll be honest. Bodgery to some degree, some bits could have been rectified quite easily but weren't. So there's a few bits on the shopping list at the moment which could have been rectified straight away and shouldn't have happened full stop anyway. Now, I've just spotted something which is the first thing that I check. And this particular issue, so this particular component on this board can cause a very nasty problem, which I like to call one-way speed, okay, or runway speed. I've got something in my eye, haven't I? Oh, bugger, use the back of my finger. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to... got sleep in my eyes, look. Luckily, I've got no alcohol cleaner on that. Oh, but hang on, guys, hang on. This is really pissing me off. Gloves are coming off. Well, not a nightmare. I can go in the bin anyway. Oh, is that better? Oh, eye bogies, love them. Right, so again, wasn't particularly too bad, some of this stuff, but this has just made me think twice. This board has not been cleaned, has not been touched, which I'm pretty confident none of the components, excuse me, none of the components have been checked. Now I can show you right now what I'm talking about. One component, like I was saying, causes what's classed as runway speed. So, in fact, Darren Mount will tell you, Darren's deck did exactly the same thing. Part of one of these components went on his deck, and basically when you turn the turntable on and you try to do anything, all the lights will turn off, and the platter spins around about 5,000 miles per hour. Okay, well, shiny as well. It's hot in here, can't you? I'm going to turn the camera around and show you this. Hang on. So, power components. Well, literally, this board, guys, is too clean. Okay, that's the first thing. It sounds silly, but I know this hasn't been cleaned because the serial number on the back, for an example, that gets rubbed off with alcohol cleaner. A little bit of alcohol cleaner, that comes straight off. I know that for a fact. These are all factory solder blobs. Now, the person that's done this can be looking at this video, arguing, going, you're talking out your arse. Now, if you look very carefully at those row of 4 points that are just sticking out, see that? That, my friends, is a Q201 component. That component can cause a really nasty problem. Now, sometimes that, along with the power components, they're not very nice. But that tells me that this has not been looked at. This has just been taken out, probably given a brush over with like a brush, well, like a paintbrush, for an example, and cleaned up the top of it and put back in. But this has not been touched. Let's have another, hang on, let's have a quick look. Yeah, I mean, you've got some of these bits, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Hang on. You can see it by looking at them. They haven't been touched with solder. They haven't been taken apart. Nothing's been taken out. They haven't been checked. 301 hasn't been checked. Xenodiode hasn't been done. D301. But that bugger there, I'm sorry, isn't good enough. That should have been done. Look, turn this board back round. I've got my gloves on, but don't worry, my hands are clean. Look. This has gone from being, you know, laughable to some degree to that's just not good enough. That, excuse that my nails, guys, that's not good enough. I haven't checked anything else, but that's the #1 culprit for a lot of problems. It's even moving. You can move it, see it moving backwards and forwards and left and right. You see it rocking, look. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, that's gone from... Oh, fucking thing. Out to AD. What we got? Mr. Mount. There's 2 tack switches in the box, Jay. One for the Q and one for the play. Sweet. I'll have a look at that, buddy, when I get round after the second deck. Steve, white paint in the eyes. Do you know what? That could have been. I didn't even think about that. Right, let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look at the pop-up assembly, and then I'll get the other deck out. Okay, so as I told you, this isn't going to be a short video. This is a bodge hunt. So get some gloves. Hang on, guys. I can't be touching my eyes anymore. Not with this. I've got to put gloves on. I know a lot of people don't bother with gloves, but especially with what I do, you don't know what you're touching. You don't know where this stuff's been. You've got to be so careful. Peter, definitely awful and definitely factory solder there. You can tell a mile off. Yep, it isn't just me then. I've done enough of these to know this anyway. But I'm glad people are watching that are noticing this as well. So this can all be moved, and for the minute it can go. It's our thing. In fact, you know what? Let's just stick that back in. What I'm going to do, because it doesn't even deserve to go on that pad at the moment, all I'm going to do is all the parts that I've taken off for the minute, all the bigger parts, I'm going to quickly put just in the base of that turntable. so I know it's there. All the obvious parts that can go, and the rest of them can go in a bag. Doesn't matter how they go on, it's all going to be taken apart and done properly anyway. Right, what was I checking? There was the pop-up light and the assembly. So first thing, let's check the assembly. So the first thing I noticed with this, again, he's obviously changed the LED colours, which I can tell a mile off because of the state of the solder. Let's turn this around and show you. So if you look, again, I don't know if you'll be able to see this under camera. Let me quickly, hang on, let's make this easier. My lamp's over here, you see, so. If you look at the two, in fact, it's got a little pointer. So you see here, for an example, you've got the positive and the negative anode, cathode of the actual LED, and these ones here as well. They're what you're looking at. So the two on the end, the four big ones in the middle are for the switches, the tact switches themselves. We want to call them tactical switches. Then you've got them. Now they should have been trimmed down for a start because they're too long. But the actual state of the solder, I saw one when I was taking it apart. If you look from the other side, oh come on. Can you see how that's not actually covered on that tip properly? Hang on. Please tell me it's not just me. And you can see that last leg on that LED right there is not on properly. The board itself has not been cleaned. I mean, you can see that by the state of the actual connectors. I would have taken them off and resoldered them personally for a start. Let's just take this back off again. Turn this round, back on the stand. We'll get this angle back down. It's almost where my phone decides to fall off. Can you still all hear me okay? Because I've just moved it a little further on the stand so I can move the stand in. Yeah, I mean, that's filthy. Personally, I would have changed the switches. The switches, one of them in particular, doesn't feel very clicky, feels very flat. So you got the one for the 45 feels okay. The 33 on the other hand doesn't feel particularly very clicky, and the actual board itself is dirty. Which is not a great start. The insides of the buttons, you see that? None of that's been cleaned. This entire assembly hasn't been done properly. It's just shitty. There's no excuse for that. Let's put this all back together loosely. In fact, before I do, let's look at the LEDs underneath the strobe, shall we? Now, again, like I said before, I'm not just knocking it for the hell of it. I want to just make sure that this has been done properly. There's a diffuser paper. That's dirty as well. Again, if you look here, you know, I told you earlier that it was all dirty. I don't know if you could just about see that. You can see it really clear there. Darren, get myself a body cam. That's not a, do you know what? It's a good shout. Get a GoPro. I should get a GoPro, slap it on my crash helmet for my bike, or wear my crash helmet, couldn't I? What a good idea. That didn't take any effort to take that off at all. Well, surprisingly, out of all of that, that's the only really good bit of solder I've actually seen. The actual solder points themselves on the strobe, they're actually done quite well. Minimal amount, not too much. Ah, hang on. Yeah, I'll take that back just a little bit. Hang on a minute. You can probably just about see, if I take this off, hang on again, do this. I don't know why I keep turning the camera around and doing this. Let's just turn this around properly and do it like this. Hang on. So if I move and you look at the second LED on the right hand side, look at the blob again. Do you see that? Second one on the right hand side? Again, what the bloody hell is all that about? It takes minimal effort to get these LEDs on with the least amount of heat. Why the hell is that going on? Jesus, guys, I'm sorry. Not bad, but that's a bit of a letdown. That's the only part. Sorry. Right, let's turn it around again. Love my job. Let's get that back on there. Lock that back in. I'm just taking a picture. What am I taking a fucking picture for? I can even do that. I was taking a screenshot. Is that better? There we go. Right. Paul Evo. Culprits that did this precise work should be ashamed of themselves. I'm saying nothing. I'm keeping out of that. Liam, that's disgraceful. Again, I'm keeping out of it. Darren, laughing because of the camera. AB, oh my God, Wendy, can you get any money back from the job prior to this? I think after seeing this, I think it's probably going to be a possibility. I don't know what the score of any of that is. I'm staying out of it. I'm just doing my job. But I'm glad that people can see to the extent. You can also see that I've not undone these boxes. You can see that they've been like that, sealed straight from my customer. Believe you me, this customer wouldn't have done any of this. She's upset enough that this has happened, and I don't blame her. All she wanted was a working pair of turntables. You know, she's had them from new, I think. Just wants to be able to use them. At the end of the day, guys, these are her babies. You got to look at it like that. It's like me when I had my first pair of Technics. You know, they were my babies. I used to do everything. I mean, I never got off the bloody things, to be honest. My parents used to hate me banging a broom on the top of the ceiling, trying to shut me up because my bedroom used to be above the living room. You know, it's a massive thing, and and that's what I was saying to you. The original lube's still on there. Look, horrible. So yeah, it's a big thing, and bless her, she's really upset. And I would be as well. After spending that amount of money, I definitely would be. Right, that's that back on just to get it out of the way. Right. Two boxes now with all that in, so it's basically 2 boxes of each bit for each turntable. So yeah, see, Ailey agrees. Again, the pop-up lights, this is going to be the crux of it as well. So let's have a quick look and see how bad these have been put on out of examples. So the only bits really that I want to look at is actually inside, because there's no resistor put in line, which usually means this is a kit with the resistor that's been put on separately, or they've made it themselves and put the resistor on separately as well, which some people do tend to do. I mean, you can see, just by looking at that, hang on, let me turn it around again. There we go, right. Is it just me, or is that completely unacceptable? You see, now that isn't dirt, that looks like it's been gouged. I could be wrong, I mean, but that doesn't look very good to me. That being said, it hasn't been cleaned inside neither. That's not a good start, right. Turn it back round. James, I'd have these fuckers in a small claims court for sure. It's a lot easier to do than you think, so the problem is some people just don't want to do that. You've got, I mean, me, I don't let things lie. I mean, people will tell you that know me. I don't let things lie. My missus knows that really well as well. If something's genuinely not right and it's not good enough, then I keep going hell for leather until things go the way they should do. So me, I would be taking the court approach if they were my turntables, especially if I spent the money. But again, that's my opinion. Some people don't like doing it. Some people just don't like confrontation. Like, I understand that small claims court to some degree is very much like that. Right, this LED kit, I don't think this is a purchased one. It might actually be. Hang on, let me just clip these off. Solder. Fucking smash me soldering iron on the floor. Obviously, I'm here having drill. I'm sure I saw a bit of plastic just fly off of that. Did I just break my drill? Ah, I got a battle scar. That's good. I ain't like me, so I'm doing a video. What's that, James? True in the past, though, it was hard. These days, it's so easy to do, and painless depends on the person. Well, from what I've been hearing, I'm not surprised why I don't want to go to court with them. Although I will back up and help out whoever wants help with it, because I don't think this is acceptable. Right, let's just quickly get this off of there. That wasn't even poked through the fucking hole. Okay. That is either been made or that's a bought kit. I'll put money on that being a bought kit. Because even the heat shrink has the yeah, that looks like a bought kit. You see, in all, you should never put these big LEDs on. And if you do put the bigger LEDs on, you need to actually buy the reflective strips that go on the back of the Mark V assemblies. You can't do it. And there's a lot of competitors out there that moan. One in particular was moaning that people don't use the correct strobe housings for them. But then the one that I had through from a customer that was the day before he was moaning about his status, didn't even have the Mark V housing, and this didn't do anything. So some people just talk out of their arse. That is not what you use. You use the smaller ones, and if you just use the Mark V attachments, there's no point saying it. What's this, James? First your headphones, now your drill. Wouldn't risk having a piss. Yeah, I ain't doing it in a can, because you know what'll happen there, mate. I won't be having kids. Not a bad thing. Steve, Mr. Robson Collins, we haven't seen the second deck yet. Sitting on the power without piss poor effort. Shocking. Right, so basically, yeah, basically that is this deck done. So all I'm going to do now is that can go back on. Don't want to lose the little screws. I have got spares, but I don't want to be using that really. Right, that's the housing for that's been done. Well, that can go. That's laughable. That's straight in the fucking bin. This can go over here. Let's get a little bag and put all these parts in. So give me just a second, guys, and we'll be back with you with the second turntable. Perfect. Perfect little bag. Right. Oh, boys, I'm going to fucking rip it, didn't I? In fact, it doesn't matter because it's all going to come out of there anyway. Right, let's just get all this stuff in. So, again, I've done so many of these. I know where all the screws go, what order they go in, which ones go where, and it's just how it is. Again, I can't stress this enough, guys. You need to be so careful. So careful and do your homework. You see, now, the customer didn't actually know about me. That's why they weren't sent to me in the first place. Now, fair enough. I mean, I'm quite about people that share the love on Facebook for me, and I get people coming that have been talking about me and talk to me and stuff. Quite surprised, really, but there you go. Just getting all this in this one little bag. That is shit, but that might as well go in there anyway. There's a good reason I need to sort my wall of bodge out, actually, because this is all stuff that can all be put on there. Like when you get rogue traders, you know, with rogue traders where you get the name and the people and all that sort of stuff. I'll probably do exactly the same with this sort of thing. This could be quite funny, actually. Turn a negative into a positive, guys. You've got to look at it as like, well, this has happened, you know, shit happens. Look on the bright side. Get this done. Right, so deck 1, everybody, has been done. Let's make some space now, and we'll get on deck 2. Oh, fuck me. Who's been commenting? So, Pete McKenzie's back to watch later. Hopefully the live video recording is up anyway to get on. Definitely this time with work. I need to do for later. Looking forward to seeing the bodges done on the second deck. Well, the second deck is being done now. This video, for anyone that's watching, this is going to be permanently put on my page. It's not being taken down. I don't care who threatens, who does anything. This is staying on my page because I think it's fair to say that people need to be aware. Like I say, I'm not mentioning who it is. You lot can all do what you want, but I don't want nothing put on my page mentioning the people that are doing this, alright? So just bear that in mind, guys. Keep it professional. Let's get the second deck out. Before I do that, let's make sure I've got a clean work surface at least, that everything is all back how it is, so I know when I start the second deck, I can crack on and know where everything is. That can go on there as well. Like I just said, guys, OCD to the max when it comes to Technics. It takes all of 2 minutes to make sure you've got a clean surface. Right, let's get the second deck out. This is deck number 2 for people that have just joined us of the bodge hunt. Deck number 2. On the base as well, we'll leave that there. Right, again, just to prove the point, this box, these are actually really good. For guys that want to know how to send them, you could actually use banana boxes. They're actually really robust. So again, for those that don't believe me, this box has come in from Parcel Force. I arranged to get this picked up. My reference details are all on the bottom, including the name of my company. Everything's all on there, personalised lettering. Everything's on there, guys. My details on the top, including the date again, with the reference, which should be the next reference due to the other one that was already on there. There's no bullshitting. This has come directly from my customer. This is the first time again that this has been opened. So let's get the blade. Do what I did with the last one because it seems to be easy just lifting it up. I can use both of these boxes to do what I've done with the other one. That's stack everything up on there. Right. Wendy Gobsmack didn't expect this much. I'm glad you're watching this. Out to Pop Poppy. Seconds out, round 2. Ding ding. Takes a woman, ha ha, there you go, there's. Right, here we go, so lifting the lid of life, guys. Oh, off the second deck. What's that for, slip mat? Okay, cheers for that, Wendy. What's in that? Again, done a good job. Done a good job. Although, like I said before, you need to be very careful because... Right, now this one. It's a different kettle of fish, guys. So, again, you remember I told you about the arm not being secured down? This one wasn't secured. So it's been moving around. Luckily, that does look like it's okay. So, you're very lucky. You are very, very lucky. Right, let's get the rest of this out. That could have been troublesome, that. So again, adapter. Don't include these, please. Just leave them off. Don't need the adapter in the box. Let's get this over here. We'll do the same thing I did with the other deck. Because you've got me here for a couple of hours yet anyway, so. Okay. Lovely. Right, deck number 2, guys. Let's look at anything obvious then. Pull my fantabulous chair over. Ugh. Lovely. In fact, I'm going to get a quick drink. Hang on. Fancy a cold drink this time. Go for the old pineapple and grapefruit crush from Sainsbury's. Which actually isn't as good as it sounds, actually. It's not even fizzy. Let's quickly turn the camera like this for a minute. Quick 2-minute break, and then we'll crack on with this second turntable, guys. Looks like it's been, you might have cleaned it a little bit. Yeah, I can see you have. Right. So, Wendy, this is the newest deck, so fingers crossed. Yep, well, I ain't going to hold out much hope with any of this stuff. I don't think until I look at it. I always say, it doesn't matter how good something looks, you know, it's what the internals are. Not impressed so far, though. Not impressed. Learned from last time, I'm putting my drink as far away as possible. Right, okay, let's plug this in. Again, the same cable. This one's in better condition. So yeah, it probably is a newer one, Wendy, you're right, because the cable doesn't look as bad. Kawasaki cable, ooh. Oh, Dencon fused. Fucking hell. Right, let's quickly play this bugger on. That's nice and loose, Jesus. Again, these pop-ups, look, this just give you an idea of how bad these actually are. Look. You could see when I put my hand in front, there is no output whatsoever from these. There is nothing. Let's get the camera off of here, hang on. Camera's coming off. What's my battery doing? 36, that's not bad. I'm actually quite impressed with this. So this deck overall, overall condition, cleaner. The other one was the bad one, I think. Again, the bubble paint on this is a bit shitty. You can probably just about make that out with the camera all across here, the ripply effect you see. So it looks like it's been stripped of paint or sandblasted, then quickly powder coated. Again, the lettering is all dry transferred on, the same as the other one. Looks good. Don't know how long it's going to last though. This one looks more in line. Again, cheap pitch trim. I can tell that a mile off. These are the very cheap quality ones. You can see by the number 8 for an example. This one hasn't got many marks on the inside, but it looks pretty sharp. That's a bit strange, a bit sharp inside. Power button on this one here at least actually looks respectable. Let's have a quick look. So start, stop. This one here seems a bit more torquey than the other one. You can see it instantly by me trying to put pressure on it. So we definitely got a problem with the other deck with the torque. Ah, right, okay. Pop-up's a little bit cleaner on this one. Again though, you see, it's just little things, little touches that make a big difference. Make people get these back and go, oh brilliant, you know? No, it's just dirty again. Let's get the light back on. Ooh, there's my drink. Right, you can't see this in the video. In fact, you can't see this in the video, but one of the connections on the arm, I don't know if you'll be able to pick this out or not. One of the connectors, the bottom right-hand corner connect. No, hang on. No, the top. Shit, yeah, top right-hand corner connector. You might just be able to see it on the video. Can you see how they look like they're recessed back slightly? The top right-hand corner looks like it's further back. The spring mechanism on the back of that looks like it's stuck. That should have been cleaned. I would have taken that off and cleaned it. So that's not a good start. That is not a good start. Right, okay. So that's one thing I've motor-focused straight away, as well as the soddy paint. Holy fuck! Well, did you ever notice this? Right, this is going to be interesting. Holy shit balls. You didn't tell me this on the pictures. Look at the fucking state of this. I thought this was polystyrene. This, guys, that's actually in the powder coat. I have never in my life, I mean, I've done loads of powder coat work. I've never in my life seen anything this bad. Look, just to prove it, guys, you can hear it. That is terrible. Look, you can see it sticking out. Wow. Well, I'm absolutely, I'm gobsmacked. And just by looking at the camera, I've just noticed that as well. Dirt on all the dirt on here, look. Crazy. Unbelievable. That's the worst thing I've seen. They should be ashamed of themselves. That's fucking horrendous. That's horrendous. That is horrendous. You can... Christ, look at that. Jesus, that's the worst, but you can actually see it when I move it to an angle without the camera focusing. Wow. Well, well, well. Nothing on the front. Holy shit balls. Look at that, guys. Right, let's turn this around. Guys, hang on. Let me quickly just put my light down on this so you can see it properly. This is ridiculous. I can't fucking believe that. Can you see that? Hang on. You see that, guys? There is actually a separate section sitting on top of that. There we go, you can see it just about there. Sean, so it says on there, doesn't look like it was cleaned properly before spraying, or those bits come from the paint. Well, this is all powder coat. This is all powder coat, this. It's almost like they've oversprayed the gun and they've brought it back. They've not gone far enough and they've just sort of gone over it really quick. Yeah, they really can't fucking paint for shit. Whoever, I was about to say that, but whoever's done this really... Look, if I paid someone to do that, so even if it wasn't me that's done this and I'd pay someone to do it, I would not have accepted it at all. I had about 2 years ago, I was testing out powder coating on one of my Mark Vs before I started doing things officially self-employed, shall we say, because I've been doing this for years, working alongside DJ shops. And when I used to do this from home, I gave a company in Colchester, someone that does a lot of powder coating, very highly recommended. This is how easy it is. A Mark V and a Mark III. And I said, right, give me the Mark V and I'll get it done in green. You may have seen a green turntable that was all powder coated. Exactly the same thing happened on the corner of that, and I threw it back and they did it. Then I asked for a wet spray on a pair of Mark IIs back about 3 years ago, and wanted it in charcoal black. I said they gave it to me. It was in a high gloss black, and that exact same thing happened on there as well. It's almost like they just spray it quick and hope for the best. Give me 2 seconds. Hang on. I'm a bit confused, Wendy. You said brand new head shell. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the actual brand new top. This is a brand new top, is it? I think they're trying to fucking kid. Seriously, Wendy, that's not brand new. You can see it's not. That's horrific. I wonder what else we're going to find. Back looks okay. Corner here, see that? They haven't put enough powder on. In fact, that's... Where am I going? Hang on. That's on there, look. Jesus Christ. Guys, how dirty is this? Hang on. Again, let me quickly just put this down. Just going to quickly grab a cloth and some spray. Hang on. Wowee. Right, okay. I'm back. Christ, the effort to get these marks out. This hasn't been done properly whatsoever. This is not a spray. Whoever told you they're sprayed, Wendy's lied to you. They're not sprayed. This has gone beyond a joke. At least you sent them to me now and I can sort these for you. Get them looking nice. Or at least try and make an improvement, because I know you've spent enough money as it is. Fucking does my head in. It really does. People do this. Just want a quick go over just to see to the extent. Look at the state behind the buttons. Can you just about see that? Let me move my light. Can you see that behind the buttons? Look at that. That's been chipped. I mean, there's no point blaming that. I mean, that may very well have been done like that, but that's not very nice. I would have sort of sanded it, or at least to build it up a bit. Okay, right. So, guys, so far, not so good. Not impressed, to be honest. Not impressed with this. This is where it gets very silly and, quite frankly, is pretty fucking unprofessional. So, yeah, whoever's done this may very well not have been the actual person that's done it. And judging from prices, again, Wendy will be able to tell you all how much she's spent price-wise on this. But this is a joke. Powder coating's not as expensive as everybody thinks it is. Pitch control on this, ironically, feels very... Actually, that's very scratchy. The bottom feels very scratchy and it gets a bit tighter on the corner, and the top tightens up again. Yeah, you're right, Wendy. Both of these are very similar like that. The top's very smooth but grabby, and the bottom is very rough. The LED, in fact, this is another thing to show you. The LED for the actual pitch control light isn't even straight. So if you look at this very carefully with my light on the corner, you might just be able to see it. Can you see how that's not straight? There you go, it's popped at an angle. It's not even straight. What fucking joke is that? Ooh, $2.50 for spray. Well, they're not sprayed. They're not sprayed. These are powder coated. There is no spray at all on this. There's no spray. I'm very confident that these have been powder coated. I don't think they've been sprayed. I don't think they've been sprayed. If they've been sprayed there, it's a fucking joke. Because the thing is, when like the bottom of them, look. If you look at the bottom, you see how the bottom inner sections are white? That's been powder coated. People don't spray them. They spray the outside and the inside. Some people don't even spray the inside of them. They're too scared for where all the screws and things go onto, you see. James, on the upside, only from this point on, your decks can only get better. They are in the right hands. Thank you, James. That is exactly the right answer. Paul Evo, you're the only man for the job, Jay, simply because you take so much time to have everything 100% clean working. Thank you, mate. I do try my best. Wendy, sorry, I meant powder coat. Oh, so he actually did pay. Christ. I'm saying nothing, Wendy, with that. I don't even bother with powder coat much anymore. I don't think I even got it on the site. In fact, I didn't check the pitch, did I? It's about right. Factory standard calibration, without checking anything, of course. Again, so guys, you're all watching this, power cable, bang, off it goes, in the bin. So the power cable's off, and etch. Right, so next step now, guys, like I said before, see that one took a little bit more pressure to come off. Okay, so I'm not surprised. Have a look, shall we? Leave this all in here. I know. Also, guys, I'm sorry. I know there's people messaging me asking regarding deliveries and things. I will get back to you. I do promise. This to me is like top priority at the moment because this is something that I promised I'd do. And it's very, very important. I hate people getting ripped off. I hate it with a fucking passion. There is nothing worse than spending your hard-earned money and getting shit back. And this is a classic example of that happening. It's disgusting. Fucking disgusting. Potential with these decks could have been quite good. Another one that hasn't got it done. This is just silly. It is just silly. You know, I said to you guys before that there was no thermal compound on the actual transistor at the top. Again, this one here comes straight out. Look, comes out. Original thermal paste, hardly anything on it, which means the majority of that was on these casings before they were done. So whoever did this for you, Wendy, these weren't brand new. These aren't new. These aren't new cases. Well, they may very well be new cases, but they haven't even bothered putting any thermal compound on the actual decks themselves. That is a big no-no. No matter who looks at that will say exactly the same thing. Fuck me, there's a... Guys, the boxing gym next door, right? There's... the walls are quite thin, right? And all I can hear next door is fucking... Is it R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly? And fucking boxing gym, give over. Christ, thick enough cable ties. You can probably hear it actually on the camera. It's not my music, guys, I promise you. Yeah, this is a newer one, Wendy, you were right, because the potentiometers on the deck are actually a lot newer. The The spindle feels a bit smoother on this one as well. So this one shouldn't be too bad. In fact, one thing to quickly check. Remember, because do you guys remember when I said about the video originally when he was saying that there was a problem underneath the platter? Is this the one you were talking about, Wendy? Oh, that's what you meant. That is weird. I mean, it's kind of raised a tiny bit. You probably can't see this on the camera, guys, so you may just about see it. But on this corner here is a lip. Wendy was telling me there was glue all covered around this. It does feel very raised. I mean, this wouldn't have been taken apart, because quite frankly, you just wouldn't take it apart. I mean, it's not... Why am I saying that? Why is there... That's really confusing. Oh, and the magnet's chipped as well. There's bits of chips on the magnet. Right, anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on, guys. Yeah, that's the one, Sean. Oh, Kelly's in the background, mate. Yeah, that. And boy, I just took that off. That has the original pitch knob on it. Felt for it. So, again, that's ridiculous. That should have been binned. Let's take the count away. Oh yeah, Wendy, again, be very careful with these. You don't want to leave these on the decks when you courier them. Well, just doing the same as we did before, just to make sure that everything is all ready and prepped. So when I do start taking these apart tomorrow at some point, everything is ready to rock. See, that even moves around. That's not even... Christ, the arm lock's a bit tight, isn't it? At least the arm locks move. Can't knock that. Right, okay. Let's get this on my bubble wrap again and we'll get this taken apart. Right. Where'd I put it? I can't think where I put it. Here it is. Right, okay. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. Feet ain't too bad on this one though. It's a good start. Let's get the chair out of the way. Screws ain't missing, which is a good thing as well. Keep sharing this post, guys. I've got a feeling this is going to get very juicy, to say the least. What's that badge? You got a new... Yes, I got my logo, mate, on my neck. Yeah, it's just literally, it's still a bit flaky. The gent that did this for me, a gent called Doug Fawkes, really nice guy from Flaming Gun in Colchester. I serviced his turntables about 3 weeks ago. So, yeah, he's a lovely guy, lovely guy, really good. And to tell you the truth, it didn't actually hurt on the neck. I was quite surprised. I've got a tidy tattoo on my shoulder, which didn't come out so well. This one was done when I was about 20, and whoever did this to me originally in Colchester doesn't actually do it anymore, but she actually scarred it quite badly. And Doug looked at it, was like, oh yeah, that's quite scarred. So what I'm going to end up doing, there's a story behind that as well. What I'm going to end up doing is having the entire arm like a sleeve done, maybe 2 sleeves, but I'll start with one at the side of my neck going down over me chest and down my arm, back and front. I want to get some sort of music related tattoo done, either it's like a platter across the bottom of my wrist or the arm or something, you know, DJ related. Maybe just like, maybe even a tribal done with music notes, all different shapes of music notes. Might look quite cool. But yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. Cheers, Baz. That's come out quite well. But it's quite surprising, right? Because most tattoos, anyone ever has them done, I usually see them and they're quite flaky and they start weeping for a couple of days, don't they? This one hasn't done any of that. He's done such a good job on it. It's just like sunburn. It doesn't even hurt now. It's excellent. So anyone that's fancy getting a tattoo done, do yourselves a favour and go and speak to Doug Fawkes from the Flaming Gun. He's a lovely guy. He'll talk to you for ages about music, like I was talking to him about his decks. Yeah, he's fucking fantastic, and I'm pretty sure Flaming Gun as well have had a lot of their work featured on Miami Ink. If you watch that on telly, or whether Miami Ink, you will have definitely probably seen him and some of the work that's been done in Flaming Gun as well. So definitely worth checking out. Right, here we go. Base off of this deck, put this on the other side. Luckily I've got a big Doug workbench, so. Yeah, you see, this is the problem, Sean. I was thinking exactly this earlier. The problem that you're going to have is if she changes the colour, the only problem that she's going to have is the inner sections for the pitch control, or anything that's indented inside the deck that goes inwards, mainly the pitch control. It's going to show white. So what would need to happen is I would need to basically strip these decks down and spray. If she's going for a wrap, would probably be the better option to go for. There's tons of options to go for, and they're really robust and look a million times better. I'd likely sand it over and then go for a wrap, but I'd probably spray around the pitch strings. Or maybe go for white carbon fibre, something like that. But again, white is always a funny colour because it gets so flaming dirty. It's the most popular one that I used to get back about 2 years ago. I've sort of pushed away from doing white because it just gets dirty. Carbon fibre white looks great until you get your grubby hands on it and you try and get them into the grooves, and it's a nightmare. Anyway, right, so again, these were loose. You just saw me do these with a drill. Let's get the weight insert off of the deck. Mr. Darren Mount, if you're watching as well, so maybe you were watching earlier, or you'll probably be watching later anyway, because you're as bad as me with this stuff. I'll be doing your XDJ tomorrow. I'm going to get in nice and early tomorrow. I've got to go to the post office again tomorrow. Loads of orders and things to go out. So once I get back from the post office, I will crack on with your tack switch. I had an XDJ RX here up until this morning. I don't know if you guys saw it on my post. If people follow a gent called Paul Hutch, or Paul Hutchinson, he's one half of the sort of Slaves House with Darryl Wright. Lovely guy. I've known him for a very, very long time. Does very well in Ibiza. Stays his own nights in Eden. He's played with Brandon Block. Quite a lot of people. Shared taxis and cars with Marco Corolla and all sorts. He does quite well for himself, old Paul. Does a DJ course as well. Yeah, I think his XDJ RX for him because the tack switch underneath was so badly smashed. The wiring on it as well, I had to rewire and resolder the tack switch because the terminals where they connect with the actual strip had snapped in half on both parts. Terrible. Abby, what's this? We will be getting you to do raps on ours when our pennies are saved. Laugh out loud. Sweet, that's good to hear. Well, there's loads of different options available, so if you do want to know what your options are, what colours you can go for, what my personal recommendations are, you know, you only got to ask. Don't be afraid to pick the phone up or send me over an email. You're more than welcome to. I'll speak to anybody. I have people come in here all the time and blast the eardrums for an hour about how the scene's changed and and all sorts like yesterday. So I'm not bothered. As long as you're not stopping me from working, I'm happy because I've got such a tight deadline with all of this stuff. Right, that's the cover off, that's that done, that's that done. Whee, I'm throwing it over the room. In fact, I'm going to make my life even easier for myself. Hang on, guys. Let's make life easy. So I've got a bag here already that I'm going to use for all the parts. So instead of me having to move everything the minute I've done it, I'm just going to do it as we go. So everything on this deck is going in this bag. We'll go from there, shall we? It's fucking chucking it down with rain again. I'm glad I got my waterproofs. Jesus. Like I was saying earlier, guys, it's so funny. So I spent £100 and 5p exactly in the Go Outdoors store yesterday. The one shop I never thought I'd set foot in. I had to spend £100 on a jacket, waterproof. It was cheaper buying that than it was buying bike stuff, which it will be. I'd rather get back and be dry than get back and be fucking soaking wet and, you know, watering with boots and shit. And yeah, I could have bought waterproofs, but I'm cheapskate like that. I like getting my knee down in the summer. Now this cable, ironically, has been betterly done. The soldering on this is actually okay. Okay, so that one's alright. Can't knock that. Even the connectors that go onto the tone arm, they look alright as well. They're nice and tight. They look quite nice. Yep, I can't fault that. That's good. So pat yourself in the back for one deck. So all I'm going to do there is cut that off because these cables are coming off anyway. I'm not a big fan of these, whatever the hell they are. They're all going to come off. Put some hot dollar bits on. Barry Spicer, hello Mush, may I ask where you learned your skill set? You're going to laugh, like everyone knows. I am self-taught, my friend. I have been DJing for the best part of, well, 20 years now. 20 years, got to change that. I've been tinkering with Technics 10, 11 years. Okay? Now, I may have worked in DJ shops, like you all know, one in particular. And I know all the gear pretty much inside out, from the old original turntables to your CDJs, your controllers, etc. I've had my heads in speakers, I've been soldering drivers, all sorts of bits, repairing things on people's weight. The one thing I never ironically actually touched at Technics, was Technics at the other shop. I think I did a pitch control once and the manager came out and moaned at me saying, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm calibrating a pitch control." And he said, "Well, why?" They finally, "I'll send them out." And they came back. That's true as well. So, hence why I left and did my own thing. But I've been tinkering with Technics for a very long time. Everything I do has been self-taught. I've had numerous Technics 1210s, 1200s. My missus will tell you this. I used to have a room in my old flat before we moved into the newer one, which was literally just me with tinkering. I've learnt the schematics. I learnt how to use an oscilloscope. I learnt how to use a multimeter properly. Any silly things like that. There's lots of things to bear in mind with this. It's not just a case of just take one thing off and it will, you know, bodge it and it will work. If you put something in the wrong place, you could potentially really hurt somebody or hurt yourself. So the plugs, for an example, I mean, I'm a big man with these moulded plugs and stuff. Some people have fixed plugs. Me, I like my moulded plugs, but it's up to everybody about how they want. But no, to answer your question there, Barry, no, self-taught. Everything with me has been self-taught. Everything. All right, and it goes to show really, I'm self-taught, and you've got people that have been doing this for donkey's years, qualifications, whatever, who do things quickly and hope for the best. And it is fucking ridiculous. And this is the thing, you do it properly, it will come back. You can see just by how I solder and how I take solder off and how I take pride in what I do. That's why I do so well. Because I take pride in what I do, and people, I'd like to think that people that watch me on videos will see that I don't bullshit. I class myself as a realist, so what you see is what you get. You know, if something needs to be done, it gets done. If you want me to do it, it's as simple as that. I don't put something on that's not meant to be there. I don't bodge things. Of course, if people want me to do things to get you out of trouble, then yes, I'll help you, but, you know. What's this? Sean, like Liam Neeson, he has a particular set of skills. That's awesome, man. Oh dear. Abby, sorry about the rain. I bought some new rain sticks for my store for Sensory Workshops. It could well be my fault. Cheers. Yeah, if you bought them yesterday, then it is your bloody fault. It's been a nightmare here. I mean, you got to think I've got a motorbike. Two motorbikes. 750 Kawasaki J1, ZXR 750, and an old CBR 600. Which I've been chopping and changing bikes for God knows how many over the last 2 years. But yeah, not the best in rain, as you would imagine. I'll take it for red, the threads have been cleaned on this because the last one was, so we'll just take the arm out completely. What time are we at? 5:05. Sweet. Still got a bit of time to get some more bits done. Jasper, what would be the cause of low end distortion even with brand new top end autophons? Right, if you've still got standard cables, there's a few things you could look at. I mean, you've got to think of the basics of this. You've got the internals inside the head shell, where the head shell connector is itself in the socket. Could be dry, could be very dirty. The wiring could become damaged. Maybe new wiring harness put inside there. Maybe upgrade the wiring. There's a lot of people that have done that are very, very happy with what I put on. The board itself, dry solder, old, might need a refresh, change. Ground connection may be dodgy. You might get a bit of hum or anything like that. The other thing is your height. Maybe if your arm's damaged. There's lots of things to take into account. The other thing is how much weight have you put down on the stylus? Have you set the weight up? Have you done it to the book specifications? Have you set the gram right that's told in the autophon manual? Have you actually got an actual, what's the word I'm thinking of, a weight scale for a turntable that you can pop the stylus on and weigh it down? Just check everything. Check every single thing. The other thing you've got to bear in mind as well is put that stylus, like cartridge and stylus, on a head shell, pop it on your other deck. If it does it on the other deck, then it could be your stylus. If it doesn't do it on the other deck, then you know you've got a problem with the turntable. That's the best way of putting it. Isolate the problem. I used to repair computers for a living, guys, very, very long time ago. And I used to have a chart, a little chart that used to be like, so what's causing the problem? You do like a loop chart that goes to another box, to another box, to another box. I made it all myself, so I knew that after a while you could just go, right, that's not powering on, move it to there, this could be causing the problem, you check that. The problem is, not like computers, these things, there's 4 or 5 things that particularly go wrong, like an arm, that you can resolve quite easily, I suppose, if you know what you're doing. So to me, taking the arm out, checking the connections, checking bearings, etc., you know, that's a no-brainer to me. But some people may not know. You do need to check everything though. Just literally troubleshoot. It's a process of elimination, Jasper. That's the way I say it. Process of elimination. Check one thing after the other, after the other, after the other, until you get it. You know, it's a pain. It's like with a motorbike. I had problems with fueling. And the problems with fueling that I had was stopping my bike from running properly. Until I took it to James across the road, who does bike stuff under there. Could not be bothered to do it myself, purely for the fact of just moving to a new unit and I didn't want petrol everywhere. He did it for me, does it for a living. He's a legend. Hard Luck Customs, big ups to Hard Luck Customs. Yeah, it's just like that. People might know how to do it but can't do it themselves. Some people know how to do it but don't want to touch it. Bearings are okay on this, by the way, Wendy. Jay just found some bits of casings he sent before fitting. I'll inbox you. Yeah, fire them over. Just want to have a look at my own peace of mind. Your bearing on the bottom, the outer casing of the bearing has been smacked. You probably can't really make that out on the camera. It's quite shiny. It has got an indentation, but I don't think that's going to cause you too much of a problem because the bearings are moving and the pivot sits in between the bearings. So we'll see what happens when I test that out. I won't take the actual mechanism apart because it is moving smoothly, and anything to go by what it's done with the other one. I'll give them top marks for the grease or the petroleum jelly is used, so that's okay. The other thing, the anti-skate's put on right as well. So that's one other thing we can mark off the list. That can go in the box. They're in the box now. Let's see if I can wham this second deck out in 45 minutes. What's my battery doing? 26%. A battery on these Huawei P20 Pros are fantastic. Just going to have a look now and see, Wendy, at the picture you've just sent me. So I've got 3 phones. I've got a massive Sony Xperia. He wants to buy a Sony Xperia big ass phone, let me know. So I don't use it much anymore. It's got a bloody good camera though. Here we go. What's this then? Jasper, I've got your message on here, mate, as well. Wendy. Just having a look now. They've come through. They're not loading. A bit weird. Just close everything down. Hang on, guys. Clear all. Try that again. Darren, 2.5 hours, man. Have you been on rant mode? Ha ha. I've not actually been that bad. Not this time. I'm a bit annoyed with some of the bits that I've seen here. But no, I'm not on, not like before. Pictures ain't loading, Wendy. I don't know what's going on here. Steve, you definitely sent them. I can see them on here, but it's not loading properly, so I'll check them out afterwards. Oh, hang on, now you've just sent another message, haven't you? Maybe it's got too much stuff open on the phone. Hang on, bloody hell. Email after email after email after Instagram. I've paid such and such, I've done this. Comments on YouTube. Christ. I don't get why it's not working. Sorry guys. We'll try that again later. Jasper, I'll let you crack on with this, mate, and we'll have a chat later. In dire need to get my decks working. Well, I'll sort it, you know I will. Right, let's move on to the next thing. So again, I can't knock the soldering on the pitch control. Although this one here has, again, got scratch marks around the heat pads, which I don't understand why. I don't get why there's scratches around them. And they're not hard to remove. I've seen people scratch around them and they try bending the prongs the wrong way around, or they try to force them out. Again, they're from Bright Components. I know I've seen them a million times before. That's loose. Dirty. You can see that on the camera. Look, see the scratch marks around the heat pads? Why? I don't know. I do not know. The pitch control, like I said before, is loose on certain parts of that, so that can go over here as well. What part should we look at next? Let's do the pop-up light again. Just take this. What's not genuine parts, Wendy? No, the pitch control's genuine. It's just obviously they've told you to put a refurbished pitch on, so. This is ridiculous. Right, you've just seen me solder this wire off, right, guys? This is the bottom of the switch. The idea is the plunger goes down with the spring, bottom of the switch goes on. When you hit it, that goes back up. Now, what you've got on this, where the wire goes on, you can see the wire itself. That's what I just desoldered. But underneath there, do you see that bit there that's sticking out? That's the old wire from the resistor that was on it, or the old wire that was on there before. So this is now turned into a bit of a bodge. This shouldn't be done like that. So now what I'm going to do is remove with a bit of solder, heat that up, get my plunger, and take that off. And you can quite clearly see actually the old wire. There's no reason for that. Turn the camera around, hang on. See that? Clear as day. That is an old wire from the old resistor. Tangled around and not removed. For no reason other than pure laziness. Absolute lazy as shit, that. If you can't see what I'm looking at, it's literally right there, look. You can't miss it. Sticks out like a sore thumb. That should have been removed. Well, Wendy, the problem is there are a couple of bits on there that aren't genuine. The main one that people tend to do is buy the replacement pitch trims. Unfortunately, the pitch trims that you've got aren't the ones that I would be using. They're just cheap versions you probably find on eBay. So no, it's not a case of you can go, oh, I'll do this because it's not genuine. There's only a couple of bits on there. Nothing really worth worrying too much about. A lot of people do it. Of course, if he has stated that you are having genuine parts on your deck replaced, then that's where this changes and you really should do something about it. I'm not going to bother taking that apart just yet, but you get the idea with that. So he's left solder on. He's left that on. That ain't fucking good enough either. Box as well. Right, next thing. Well, we've still got 45 minutes. Let's get this the switching off of here. tie on here. At least he's tied that up. Christ. Absolutely filthy. It's fucking filthy. Again, same old shitty blue lube inside the switch. The soldering for the LEDs doesn't look too bad, but again, the prongs has just left too long. Hasn't checked the cables, the connections. Absolutely filthy. They are fucking disgusting. You can probably just about see that. Turn this around again, hang on. So the actual connections themselves, if I do it at an angle, can you see how shiny, how bad they are? Look at the top connections. You can see all this. You can just see the scratch marks. See the scratch marks on the top connections on the board? No reason for that. No reason whatsoever. Just ripped my glove on the corner. Got to change the bloody gloves again, look. Typical. That's a good excuse to stop for 2 seconds and grab a quick drink. Hang on. So I'll put some new gloves out. Because the next step is going to be taking the board out of the deck and just checking that over. It's so cold. There's a lot of Coke fridge in here, isn't there? Oh, I wonder what I was going to fucking do today. Oh. Wendy, I blame you. I was going to buy some pot noodles for delivery tomorrow on Amazon. I may be alright still. Get some bits in here so I can actually get some lunch on the go tomorrow. Right, the other thing on here, again, the old bits of tape are still on the deck. Again, the pitch trim one, as I told you before, the under pitch felt, the shading felt, that's not on there. Hasn't been removed properly. Lazy half-assed job trying to remove it. I don't care what anybody says, that's just not good enough. Let's take the board out. Check the obvious bits that I always do. It's amazing how long this actually takes, guys. It doesn't look like it takes very long at all. Once this is all taken apart, it's when the real fun starts to happen behind the scenes with me, because obviously you've got to take your time and take things out, do them properly. With regards to these pop-up LEDs, Wendy, what I'd probably do if I was you is just pop a white LED on. Blue are okay, don't get me wrong, this hasn't been done either. In fact, that's a classic. Look on that. Let's look at the bottom of this. Hang on. Look at that bit at the bottom. Dirt. He's just put oil in the top of it and hope for the best. It's got dirt on it. That's my cotton buds, hang on. Ugh. This is without even taking it apart. Jesus. I mean, look, without even taking it apart, it's not good enough. It's not good enough at all. That hasn't even been fucking put on properly. The screw that mounts the board inside. Now this is where it gets stupid. So hang on, guys, hang on. Right, so, hi Phil, mate. Right, you see this screw here? That ain't far down enough. That's not even screwed at the right angle. Look. Look at that. Hang on. Let's try and fucking... You see me screwing it, look. You can see I'm not... Unfucking believable, look. Look. That was not even tightened up. Unbelievable. I'm glad you guys saw this. You just saw me doing that. That's now tight, yeah? That was nowhere near where it was meant to fucking be. What an absolute joke. That is pure laziness of the highest form. It felt a bit tough, and that's probably because of the threading from the powder coat. Like I said, some people take them off and put different bolts on. That one's not... Look, that one there. There you go. That's done. That's not. Hang on. Turn it around again. Hiya, Sean. You're sorry, mate, for not getting you down to see this, but I need to get this hammered out, really, so I can crack on. Nice one for casting your professional eyes over them, Jay. Guys, obviously a complete fucking joker. Just got in and seen part of this. No words, really, bro. Hi, Sean. I'll inbox you in a second. Yeah, this entire video, mate, will all be on the page anyway, so that ain't going to go anywhere. It'll probably end up on YouTube as well. I won't be surprised if there's going to be some comments and backstab and shit. You know what it's like. But this needs to be done. This needs to be done. So the last of the part of the deck now. What I'll do, Sean, while you're actually on it, I'll show you in a second just how bad the powder coating is as well. How anybody can blame this on somebody else is a fucking joke. This hasn't even been cleaned. Right, get the board out on my little pad. So again, you've just tuned in, haven't you? So probably can't see it from here, but again, the powder coat, you can't see. I'll do it. You look at the video, you'll be able to see it. I'll do a last one before I put this away anyway. Let's move this out of the way. So the last portion of this now is the main board. Let's have a quick look. Cheers, Kev. Glad you like the tattoo, mate. But it's good to see those people appreciating it. Philip would love to know who did the bodge. I can't say nothing, buddy. I need to stay quiet. I'm professional, so. Again, another board that hasn't been touched. The component before, this one is actually moving as well, ironically. Not as bad, but that one is moving. Two of the pins are moving. So again, this could have happened with this deck as well. Words fail me, guys. I get sick to death of it where people think they know what they're doing. They fucking don't. Hasn't even, the board, the power supply is filthy. I mean, not being funny, but there's dirt around the rubber where it goes on the deck. Let's get rid of the old shitty paste. Literally, only thermal paste you had was the smallest little smidge on there. With one wipe like that, the whole thing is gone. It is. That ain't good enough. That is not good enough. Standards are not high with that. No person who claims to be authorised to do this would do that. Let's get this back in the deck. In fact, what I'll quickly do, we'll get this out of the way. I'll quickly show you, Sean, while you're watching this, bud. State of the powder coat, just so you can see it, because this is pretty much the end of it. Let me just quickly turn it around. So you may be able to just about see this under the light. Can you see that, Sean? There's little spodges all over it. Hang on. Literally the whole deck on this side. Again, for those that didn't see this before, this like after spray. And these aren't actually just, I thought it was a polystyrene, Sean, but they're not. These are actually on the turntable. It's like overspray where it hasn't been cleaned properly and it hasn't been done properly. It is all over the deck. All over it. all over the fucking thing on one side. Look, you can see it raised. It's all raised. What's that? You got a mark. Look, this is marked as well. What else have we got? Anything on the front? Again, it was on this side as well, wasn't it? Look, so again here, look at the corner. That's all raised on the edge. See that? Can't really miss it, can you? How anyone would let that go out like that? In the back corner again, you've got the bit on there as well. Most people don't really bother with that because obviously it's at the back, and you've got the little bit there. That's like that line there. That's, I guess, actually indented. That's like a hair that's indented in the back of the powder coat. Yeah, horrendous is definitely the word. Unfortunately, horrendous indeed. Right, give me a second, guys. Next steps to get this back in the deck. Wow. Just wow. And obviously the pitch control, that, feet. More messages coming through. It's terrific, guys, isn't it, eh? Both decks now on my floor. You can see them there on top of the boxes that they came in. Let's just have a quick 5-second sit down. That's pretty much that anyway. Let's have a recap, guys. So for those that have missed out and have just joined, you really have missed a lot. I think it's been going on for about nearly 3 hours, I think. It's the longest bodge job hunt I think I've ever done. The pictures, Wendy, still haven't come through. Let's go on here and see how long it is. Craziness, eh? At least the picture's good. Doesn't actually say how long. Of course, I had a few reaches though. 10 shares, 156 comments. So far that video, according to my reach on my page, 2,270 people reached. Thank you so much, guys, for your shares on this. Right, so again, you've just seen there for nearly 2.5, 3 hours worth of pure bullshit, basically. As you could all see when I first started doing these decks, when I got them out from the boxes, you could quite blatantly see that I hadn't opened them before. They were sealed from my customer. They were given to me like that from Parcel Force, and this fucking thing keeps moving. Stop wobbling. It's so annoying. Yeah, opened like that from the customer, straight on the floor, under the boxes, live on camera for you. You could see the barcodes that I had made from Parcel Force. They're my barcodes. I have an account with Parcel Force, so they're mine. Got them here, unboxed them step by step. You guys have seen every single part of these turntables, to moving components that aren't right, to overspray on the deck casings themselves, which to me that's just not good enough. There's a lot of things. I'm not judgmental to the fact that I turn around and say who these people are or anything like that. I didn't even start off by saying that they're really that bad. I mean, but the thing is, you get what you pay for. But these guys charged a fortune. I think it's like 500 quid, 600 quid. It is so much money for what you get. I've got to plug my phone in because the fucking battery's got 20%. I told you, didn't I? Hang on, guys. Hang on. Where's the bloody plug for? I bet this falls off. Here we go. Hang on. Is that the one? Hang on, guys. Hang on a minute. And there we go. It's now plugged in. Push that back. Lovely. Right. Move the angle because the cable's there. Sorry, I know I look really hot and sweaty, guys, but I've been concentrating. I'm sorry. Again, nice movie thing. Just be very careful. Look, I don't care who you send them to. Whether you send them to me, it'll be great. But please, just be careful. Do your homework first. Look at the reviews. It's just difficult. It pisses me off how people can people put their trust in other guys, and all they do is bodge, rush, think of the money, you know, take no accountability for problems. I think there's been problems with this as well. Yeah, Sean, I knew, bro, the list of mistakes was going to be big, high, but I've seen some bad shit, Jay, but Karma seriously needs to be visiting this full. Horrendous, still watching. Yeah, it's not good, mate. It's not good. Some bits you can forgive, but if you've been doing it for as long as they say they've been doing it for, you just don't do it. Well, this is the good news. Right, so now that's out the way. Alright, so you've all seen it. I've done what I said I was going to do. Unfortunately, I couldn't get parcel force taking it out of the van and doing, because it was chucking it down with fucking rain. And to be fair, I felt bad making the bloke stand there with his boxes. So that's the only part I didn't get. Other than that, I did everything I said I was going to do. So this is the good news. So Wendy, I've looked at your decks. You've all seen me look at your decks. So this is the good part of it. Well, there's one bad part. There's two bad parts. One, if you decide to keep the colour scheme how it is, but you want to go for a wrap, if you want to keep the colour scheme how it is, the only way of really resolving the problem is by lightly sanding over the points which look bad. Let me go over everything and let me spray it in a colour that you feel suitable for the edges. And then we'll wrap it in the colour that you want. I would definitely go for a vinyl wrap. The longevity is fantastic. You get 5 to 7 years on 3M, outdoor, on cars and bikes. Indoors, it will last you a lifetime. And like you say, they're your babies. I doubt you're going to take them anywhere. But if you do, they'll last and they'll be durable. People that have decks done by me use wraps out and about. Never have any problems. We had one guy that did, but he's be realistic. He gigged every week, 4 nights a week, and he threw them in the back of his car. It's not my fault. His fault for being a plonker and not putting them in flight cases. That's the truth. And that I ended up getting the upper hand on it anyway. So yeah, if you want to go for a white vinyl, you can. At least that way it will match with the inner section of what's been powder coated. And luckily for you, the inner section of the pitch control isn't damaged. So white is a possibility. Just bear in mind what I said about white vinyl. There's a lot of different things you can go for, like the sparkly style ones. I wouldn't go for just a gloss white anyway. Gloss white looks okay, but it picks everything up. Go for something like a special effects or like a white flip. I do one called Ghost Pearl. Ghost Pearl's quite nice. But if you're going to change it, look for something like that. The next thing that you're going to have a problem with is your pitch controls. Now, I can be completely honest here. If he sold you a refurbished pitch, what usually happens when you... Well, I could actually show you. Hang on, this makes it even better. Hang on. Let's take one of these apart. Let's take one of these apart actually live on the camera so you guys can see the inside of it. I'm not doubting it's not cleaned or anything if he's refurbished it, but on the same respect, this needs to be done. What happens with, I'll use my higher output. These guys are fucking phenomenal. I've got a bloody solder, the rechargeable soldering iron for bigger jobs that I use that need a bit of high power quickly. Excellent, really cool bit of kit. You would be shocked if I told you how much this was. I'm over the moon with it. I don't use this on the, obviously the Weller is the bad boy. This is just to take this apart because I know what's going to happen with this. Yeah, the problem that you've got with pitch controls is you only really get one go to take them apart, because they weren't designed to be taken apart and reconditioned. They're just designed to be thrown away after use. But because obviously they've discontinued the parts and people are now remanufacturing them, that's why people were doing it, because it works out cheaper. The problem you've got is the condition of each slider inside, the rails as well. So the ADs come straight off and go in a bin. We're actually just taking this entire pitch control out so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So they go quiet for a second, guys, so I can just make sure I don't break the board or bend the board. guy hasn't even bent the connections in. Can't believe it. Right. Okay. Okay, let's get this board out and I'll show you. What has this guy done? Using a tiny little bit of heat, and these lift so straightforward. Why the hell? There we go. Here we go, we're getting somewhere. A little bit of heat on each bit, each pad. Done. Right, so that's the board off. Right, I shall show you now what I'm talking about. I don't need that anymore. Let me put back on there. So, the pitch controls. What happens if someone sells you a refurbished pitch control is pretty straightforward. Sometimes they're really good condition, loads of life left to them. Other times they're not. You see at the back of the pitch, you've got these little prongs sticking out through the sides. Well, what happens is they're only really designed to be moved probably once. They're very stressed, these, so you've got to be so careful. You get your pliers and just move them. I'll just quickly take this apart and I'll show you what happens. Here you see, it's stressed already. See, when I move that in, you'll see, hang on, yeah, like that, right, so you see how it's snapped clean off. It's snapped clean off in my hand. All I tried doing was bending that back and it snapped in my hand. Now, what happens when you bend this back, it obviously stresses this. When you push it back again, it further stresses it and the join becomes very weak and that will break. And that's exactly what will happen with all of them. So what basically happens is, even if this was working, once I've cleaned it, you need to replace the outer shell. So you are going to need 2 new pitch controls. It's the truth. Okay, it's not a bad thing saying that, because they'll both be smooth as each other, brand new. I'll put new potentiometers on them for you and we'll get them going really nice. Okay, right, the good news for you. So that's the bad news. That's the bad news. Alright, so you may need a wrap if you want to get rid of all the imperfections, and you may need some pitch controls, the cables, all the rest of the stuff. Right, let's do this. Wendy, as you can probably agree, guys, needs a bit of a break. No other easy way of saying it, really. Cables, Wendy, you're going to get for free. I'm going to pop some really nice high-end cables. I'll give you an example of what I do. Hang on a second. This is a pair at the moment that I'm currently building from scratch for one of my customers. So we've got black heat shrink cable, not too thick, red heat shrink, high-end cable, which obviously is secured at the moment so I can poke it back through the deck. So you're basically going to have one of these in each deck. The connectors I haven't fitted yet. This gives you an example, guys. I custom make my cables, okay? None of this thick shit that you see. It's proper 3.5mm diameter per cable per side, so left and right. The correct diameter for the cable. Flexible, more flexible than the ones that are in there as well. Anti-tangle, so it's better for you, Wendy, as well. These are going to go in on your decks free of charge. Alright, you don't need any connectors or anything for them anyway. The end connectors that go on the decks for the phono sockets, I'm going to put you Nutric connectors or ring connectors, one of the two. Again, they're going on free of charge. Servicing of your decks, free of charge. I'm not charging you for servicing, Wendy. You've paid enough as it is. I think that's only fair. You're not paying for servicing. I mean, the decks are apart now. I can go over the main board, I can check components, I can replace parts if need be, but I'm not going to charge you for that. I think that's only fair. So you need to buy yourself some new pitch controls. I think you're just sitting there, you want to go for a wrap, so obviously you pay for the wrap. Anything else little that's needed, don't worry about it. Alright, so we'll just play it by ear. But the servicing, Wendy, you ain't paying for, and you definitely are not paying for cables. All right. Just by doing that, you saved yourself 150 quid on the service for the pair of decks. You save yourself with these cables 20 quid for the cables, £12 for the braiding parts per deck, bearing in mind. So you're looking 24, 34, 44, 54, 64. You've pretty much saved yourself over 200 quid just starting off with. Power cables you need, I mean, I'm back at my suppliers tomorrow. I'll get some moulded cables if they've got some in stock. Otherwise I'll just build you some nice cables for your power cable. Take those horrible old ones off for you, get that done for you too. Pop them on. They don't cost much money anyway. Might as well get them on there. Get some long ones. Anything else I can think of? The paint and things on the side. So your rubber bases that have all the paint on, I will give them a good clean up. See if I can get rid of the majority of the paint that's on the bases for the rubber bases. Hook you up with some decent decal kits for the sides to cover them over. The on-off switch, quite frankly, Wendy, I wouldn't worry too much about that for the time being. I have got loads of on-off switches that are in much better condition than the one that's currently on that turntable, so I'll change over the on-off switch for you. I may, depending on what wrap you go for, what I tend to do is match the wrap to the top of the on-off switch, your 45 adapter, because I've got a few scratches on anyway. I'll definitely put some vinyl wrap on them just to match the deck. Your platter will be wrapped, and the inner section of the pitch control where the actual knob moves backwards and forwards. I know the trims are cheap trims, but the section that tends to get scratched up is the inner section of the slider. So what we'll do as well is I'll match the vinyl wrap inside there for you, so the whole thing should, in theory, any imperfections will be nicely covered for you as well. I'll give it a bloody good clean up as well, so at least you know underneath the vinyl wrap is done properly. All the vinyl gets stuck down with 3M primer too, so there's no chance of anything picking, no chance of anything lifting, unless you really rip it back. But again, I very highly doubt it. And obviously, the one other thing you need to bear in mind that you're going to have on these decks when the wrap is put onto place is the high quality aluminium badges that I put on, the Technics badges. You must have seen them on my page. You'd have a choice of having one that's got my logo, or you can go for the one that's a long rectangular like people keep buying on my page, which is just the Technics lettering. It's exactly the same size, and I pop it in position on both, so you'd have like a nice brushed aluminium badge with the lettering on, or a mirror chrome style with just Technics logo and stuff. Up to you, whatever happens, I'll put them on for you. I'll put them on with all the wraps anyway, so it's not going to cost you the world, but at least you know it's done properly. I think that's the least you deserve this, Wendy, to be fair. You've been ripped off. You don't need this shit. You've got enough going on as it is, so I can appreciate that. There we go. What's this, James? Wendy, definitely need a break. I agree, I own several record labels. If you want to send me your Addy over at some point, Wendy, I will send you a box of vinyl. There you go, look at that, see? This is what it's all about. The people in the community all helping people out. Top man, James. Absolute top man, my friend. Sean, Jay, we're in talking box, but I'll sort you something cash-wise for the service, and just as a thank you. Mate, don't worry about it, it's all good. Wendy, well, I don't know what to say. Just say thanks. Just say thanks. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Just say thanks. You know, it's not all about, look, I do it for the love of doing it. You can appreciate I run a business, I have to pay my bills, all the usual bits and all the adult parts that come from day to day, you know, and the electric here and the rates and stuff. But look, at the end of the day, it's not all about the money. It's not all about money, it's all about keeping the person happy. The customer has to be happy. That's the point. You need to get those decks back, you need to undo the box and go, fuck me, look at this. Awesome, oh my God. Well chuffed, the best review known to man, message to people, oh my God, cheers for that. If you don't get that feeling, then you're not happy, are you? What's the point? Seriously, James, big shout outs going to you. That's really good to know. And in fact, James, if you've got any techno or anything going, mate, give me some prices. I'll buy some off you. Do some for here anyway in the unit. But yeah, wicked, honestly. Look, Wendy, next time you see these turntables, I know they're in a million bits on the floor at the moment. Next time you see them, they'll look completely different. So, like I said, vinyl wrap wise, give me a second, hang on. Vinyl wrap wise, there are a few options that I can show you on camera right now, as I've still got some time left over. The ones that people tend to go for that cover all of the impurities up are these particular ones. This is my recommendations, okay? You've got carbon fibre, okay? That looks the dog's danglies, Wendy, okay? I know you probably don't like black, but that is thick textured. Any imperfections that's got, once I've sanded it, they'll be covered over. You just need to bear in mind the sections around your pitch that won't be. But it might look quite nice because you'll have one section in white with the black, or I'll just spray it over so it covers it over anyway. But you would need to change over the trims, okay? Carbon fibre. You've then got brushed metallic black. That is really nice as well. It's got a brushed look, as you can see. And if you're going for the brushed badges, like I said, the Technics badges, they go really good together. That's another one. What we got? Gold dust black. That's like a gold hint with black. That's quite tasty again. If you're into your M5Gs, you know, the Technics M5Gs, this is the closest wrap you're going to find. It's pretty much identical to the Technics M5Gs. It's Gloss Galaxy Black. That's really nice. Again, it's quite thick vinyl with like a high gloss finish over the top, so that covers over impurities really nicely. My personal favourite, which I had on my own turntables before I sold them, is the psychedelic flip. I fucking love this. I love this vinyl. This is one of my favourites. Psychedelic flip vinyl. You got that. Right, this is where it starts getting interesting for you. So if you want to keep it white, frozen vanilla. This again, this is 3M as well. So what I'll quickly do, because you're not probably getting the benefit of the camera with this, are you? Let me quickly take the camera off the stand. What's my battery? Sorry, hang on guys. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. 27%. Right, let's just take this off and turn the camera around again. So, frozen vanilla. This would probably look quite tasty on yours, to be fair, Wendy. As you can see, it's like it's almost like a glittery type, but not in your face. It's called frozen vanilla, so that's that one. You've then got, what we got? Oh, this is beautiful. This is Deep Space, Gloss Deep Space. Now that I've got an entire roll of right there. That is a gorgeous wrap, that really is. Gloss Flip Deep Space. It's like a purpley blue flip that changes colour when you walk past it. As you can see, it goes from blue to purple. That's very, very tasty, that. That's one of my favourites. It's quite thick as well. I'll keep the ones out that... What we got? Satin Urban Jungle. This is by Avery Vinyl. This is good stuff as well. Well, not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. That's the satin finish psychedelic. Again, I don't like that one too much. Satin's a bit, leaves a few marks. Right, Shadow Military Green. This is lovely. It's like a textured camouflage, very popular. Shadow Black. Got that one. Right, this is the one, Wendy, I was telling you about. So this is Gloss Flip Ghost Pearl. This has got almost got like a rainbow tinge. You can just about see that on the camera. But it's white. That is the one I would go for if it was me. Because that will hide everything over. It's quite thick vinyl as well. It's got a nice flip effect to it too. That's my own personal preference. You've got two there in white. What's that? Rush Cyan. That's too thin. I wouldn't go with that. Then you've got Shadow Black again. That is the black military camouflage one. Obviously the Deep Space Blue one, which I'll leave out there because I know you probably liking that one. Everyone seems to like that one. And obviously there's the carbon fibre. There is white carbon fibre as well. I'm not personally a big fan of that though. It's a bit of a pain to wrap as well. So you've got, these are my own personal ones. So carbon fibre, Deep Space Flip Blue. You've got the frozen vanilla. Then we've got the Ghost Pearl Flip, which I think is lovely. And you've got the Shadow Black. The problem you've got, Wendy, there is hundreds of different vinyls that you can go for. And the good thing is, though, every vinyl that I use, these are all 3M or Avery. Now, if you've never heard of 3M before, you need to get out your cave. Because 3M is elusive, massive firm. Deal with everything from Velcro strips to tape, hospital bits, vinyl and cars, you name it, they've got it. But trying to get free samples out of them is like trying to get blood from a stone. Hence why I've only got half a dozen different samples to show you. But there is a massive page. I could send you a colour swatch and a virtual swatch sample as well, so you can actually see what it looks like on cars. I think you'll probably end up going for the flip purple. I wouldn't be surprised. But the white one as well is fucking lovely. The flip white is gorgeous. Wendy's gone, you may have me on the blue. I'm not surprised. Shouldn't have shown you that, should I? He's lovely, though. He's lovely. James, white is lush, but you will always remember the bad service with that colour now. Go for blue. New decks, happy thoughts. Yeah, that is true. That is true. You're still going to get a white around the edges, though. Around the edge of the inside of the pitch. But I'll see if I can wrap it up or something. Get it in the middle. Get it all matching. That'll be interesting. So, do you know what you got to do? All you got to do is let me know. Yeah, I know, Sean, you've always been a bit psychedelic. Yeah, maybe a different colour. Take off the colour. Memory, as James says. I'd probably do that, to be fair. It's all dependent if you really want to go for if you really must go for white. Some people have got their heart set on a colour, haven't they? And they just go for that. It is nice. The purple one is a nice one to do. It is very thick as well, like I say, and any imperfections it hides really nicely, so that'll look really good with the badges too. But I'll see what I can do with regards to like decal kits and stuff for you too. Wendy, I think you could be right. I'd like them both, but the blue just has the slight edge. Go for the blue, Wendy. Go for the blue. Whatever you choose with the colour, with the wrap, I'll do it cheaper for you anyway. Some of it here, so I'm not gonna bloody charge the earth with this. I think you've had even for enough pain and suffering from the guy before with your deck, so you've got some time to let me know. Just fire us over a message. You ain't got to do it right now. You have a look on the page. I'll send you a chart over. If you go on my website, actually, Wendy, I forgot I've done this. Go on the website. Go on to the top section. You'll see on there vinyl wraps. If you click on that, there's actually 2 downloadable colour charts. You can have a look at what they both look like. You've got the colour chart, loads of little blocks like you do with a paint chart, paint swatch. Then you've got the virtual swatch, which is actually that wrap on cars. And in fact, that Deep Space Purple is actually on there as well. So have a look on my page, my webpage, justtechnics.co.uk, and go on the webpage and have a look. That's what I'd do. And there we go. Well, that was entertaining, wasn't it? Wasn't that entertaining, guys? I'm fucking knackered now. Oh dear. The last thing I'm going to do before I go is the tack switch for Darren's XDJ. Get that done so we can get it collected tomorrow for him. Yeah, have a look, Wendy. Go on the website. But yeah, seriously, like I say, service, don't worry about it. Cables, don't worry about it. I'm going to get the parts tomorrow for the cables anyway. Yes, James, it is still raining. It is still raining. I can hear it outside. It's more depressed every time I hear it. Because where I am, it's a building within a building. And it made it so funny because outside the front with my bike, literally, it was so much. The outside's all made up like grit and gravel and almost like sand, where they're just trying to work on the front of it for me. And literally, my bike yesterday and its stand was sinking. I had to get a big block of wood and sit my bike stand on the block of wood. Otherwise, the bike would have fallen over. I don't want that to happen. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do anyway. Wendy, so the service is free, cables are free. Just get it done. Pick what wrap you want. I'll work out a good price for the wrap. If any other bits that I feel are going to be, must-haves that are ridiculously expensive, I highly doubt it. But if they do, that's a different kettle of fish. But I highly doubt you're going to need anything too major. I'll test everything out anyway, and you just need a break. But so many people have messaged me that have problems with competitors or people that have who genuinely can't afford things. You know, it's expensive stuff, this, guys, and I can appreciate what it's like. It's like me getting my bike done by somebody, and then the next thing you know, I get them back and I get the bike back and hate what they've done, or they haven't done it properly, or there's false promises, and it makes you feel like shit because you spend all your money and you can't afford to just shell out £5,000 again. It's a lot of money. People don't realise it. I mean, the money that I get for what I do pays bills. It's what it does. So everyone's exactly the same. But a lot of these guys are very lucky, especially if they work from home. I mean, I remember when I did this from home, when I was doing it from home before I moved into my office. And you end up looking at it and you're like, well, how the hell can I afford to spend all that much money on the office rent, and then pay all the money for the flat, and then pay all the money on the bills? It all adds up and it's bloody expensive. James, I'll box your Siobhan up tomorrow, Wendy. Message me over with the address and I will get it sent out to you on Monday in time for your deck's return. And look at that, look, that is top class. James, you are a legend, my friend. Out to Mr. Charisma. Jay, you're a top man. I know you'd say it don't need saying, but hey, well, you know. Cheers, Sean, man. You know him for a long time anyway. I might be a nutter and I might like scratching and I might like me techno, but I do like to try and be a good bloke. Wendy, I will do. Thank you again. Sweet. So you two both talk to each other and get that sorted. James, you're a legend for doing that, mate. Thank you ever so much for helping her out. That's wicked. Like I say, between all of us here, we all know what it's like when you get ripped off, and we'll all get it sorted. So Wendy, I wouldn't worry too much about your money side of things. Worst of the worst, all you've got to do is cover the return post. Like we said, it's not that bad, is it? Let's quickly check this XDJ while you lot are watching. What's the last message there, Wendy? What was that? I've known Sean years. He's given me such a talking to. Good, I'm glad he has. Sean, it's all your fault. You should have told her. I think you probably did anyway. Well, just to change the subject very quickly, for those of you out there that have CDJs, XDJ unit controllers, any of that stuff, and you're having problems with the switches and you need them changed over, fire me over a message. I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time, and I wasn't really advertising it purely for the fact of I was getting people going, Jake, can you change the screen over on my decks? It's just not all mainboard issues, things like that. I don't deal with anything like that. All I want to do is what I say I'm going to do. People start saying to me, can you do this, can you do that? It doesn't quite work. But this, guys, is an XDJ 700. It's one of the small touchscreen units which Pioneer released. I think it's the one that hasn't got the CD tray. So you should have all probably seen it. James will say, what colour do you want the corner powder coated? Piss off. You funny bastard. Right. Is that a power cable for it? Okay. Wow, this is what I mean with Pioneer. How light is that? Nice to bit of kit though, isn't it? That is nice though. Let's just power this beauty on and have a quick butchers before I put the switch in, which I'll do without you lot watching because you put me off and I'm not breaking it. What's he got in here? Cool, I'll take it this is the one that you gig with then, Darren, if you're watching. Bloody hell, you can't miss that, can you? Is that UV as well? Same, all SanDisk cruisers, good USB Gs. Sweet, happy days. Nice little unit. It's amazing just how far this stuff has come, isn't it? Right, okay then. Guys, it's been an absolute, well I say it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure with you guys all watching. Thank you ever so much. Massive shouts going out to Mr. Charisma and James Watson as well. James, seriously for doing that, mate. That's a nice, really nice thing to do. So we can't thank you enough for that. Wendy, don't worry, we'll get this done. In the meantime, if you get any backlash, any problems or anything off of this company, please do let me know. feel free to say that I've got a recording of everything. This is going to be downloaded the minute this video stops, so everything is going to be live on the computer. I'll be able to record it, upload it. It's going to be on YouTube at some point as well. I can appreciate it's over 2 hours long. It's going to be a very big video for me to edit, but it needs to go on YouTube, so that's going to be on there as well. Photographs of all the problems will also be on there, of what I've got on there, and the rest of them will obviously be on the video. So just if you've got any questions about anything, when you just let me know straight away, okay? Guys, I am going to love you and leave you now. I'm absolutely fucking knackered. I've got to get this deck done and then get myself home. Guys, thank you ever so much. This is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Take it easy, everybody, and you'll probably get the cities all rebuilt and done. I hope by the middle of next week. We'll see what happens. See you later, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.